You can measure the size of an elephant. You can clock the speed of a cheetah, but you can't quantify the heart of a kings, queens, and in-betweens. Welcome to Dr. Boxing Talk. Stream starts now.
The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here!
If I tell you I'm good, probably you will say I'm boasting. If I tell you I'm no good, you know one line.
Yo, 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 yo. Good, great, grand morning to y'all. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Wonderful brothers and sisters, brethren and sistren, prince and princesses, hermanos, mi hermanas, ladies and lads, kings and queens, and everything in between. Y'all know what time it is on this wonderful Monday morning. The doctor's in the house. Let's get it, man. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Hit this quick roll call. You know my thing. Hold on. Let me get my camera right, though. All right, we here. You know what I'm saying? You got my boy, my brother, my partner, my pal, Oscar Perez in the building. Hope everything's going well for you, man. Hope everything's good for you, bro. You know, we here to talk some boxing. I'm gonna sip my tea. I think hot, daddy. I think hot, but it's good though. But it's good. Got a couple things to talk about today, man. Monday. First, you know, we're going to focus on the weekend review like we always do. Because there's some stuff that, well, not always, but, you know, whenever there's a lot of stuff that go on the weekend, that's what we tend to focus on. And, you know, this weekend is no different. We had a couple good fights. One big fight in the junior welterweight division, 140 pounds, particularly the IBF with the American Richardson Hitchins going against the Australian George Kambosos, man. And it was a good fight, man. It was more of a dominant performance than even I anticipated. I thought it was going to be pretty dominant, but sheesh, that was really very, very, very dominant. But before we get into all these topics, we have a few others. Let's go ahead and start off with our prayer to kick the show off like we usually do. You know what I'm saying? So please join me and bow your heads. Join me and bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this wonderful day, waking us up on this wonderful day, for every day that we get to see, but particularly this Monday. Lord, we ask you that you lead us into this work week with a calm spirit, confident spirit, and a grateful spirit as well, Lord. Let us be happy and be optimistic in every situation we're in, and be positive, you know, because being positive doesn't solve any situation, but it makes every situation better than being negative does. And it's a lot easier to be positive when we look towards you, and keep you first, put you at the forefront of our minds. So we ask you for forgiveness of our sins. We ask you for also to allow us to forgive others of their bad intentions towards us, you know, and ill will towards us, Lord. And we ask you that we go out and be a beacon of light to those in the dark. And we ask you for peace, health, spiritual health, emotional health, physical health, and financial health as well. In Jesus' name. Thank you, Lord. Amen. 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 So let's get right to it, man. So I want to start off with El Monstro, you know what I'm saying? The Mexican monster, aka David Benavidez, man. David Benavidez versus who? David Benavidez versus Jai Apataya?
What?
That's what I'm hearing through the grapevine, Chad. I'm hearing David Benavidez, the American, recently elevated WBC light heavyweight champion, going against the Australian IBF cruiserweight and Ring Magazine champion in Jai Apataya. And that just came out of nowhere, essentially, right? But if you think about it, it didn't really come out of nowhere, right? Because, you know, David Benavidez has been flirting with moving up to cruiserweight, even potentially going to heavyweight. And he also been talking about fighting Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. He's clearly at cruiserweight, right? He's a unified champion. He has a WBA belt and the WBA belt and the WBO belt at cruiserweight, and he'll be defending his unified belts against Junior Dorticos, who's his WBA mandatory, in the imminent future on the Jake Paul versus JCC Junior card, right? Undercard this summer. So, you know, it's not too far-fetched to imagine David Benavidez go up to cruiserweight. And you know, I like the call out. You know, David Benavidez called him out, said that, yeah, I'll be down if I have that fight next. And clearly David Benavidez is just looking for the big fights, and you can't knock him for that. Actually, I love him for that. That's one of the reasons why I like him, because he is looking for the big fights, and I believe him. You know, let's see how Jai Apataya responds. I don't think Jai Apataya will respond in kind. When I mean in kind, I'm talking about like as far as accepting the fight next. And I'm gonna be honest, man, I think he should accept it, because Jai Apataya has been talking about fighting a lot of people too, right? He wants to fight a big fights and unifications primarily, but that's why I think he should decline it or just not even pay attention to it, because he does want unification, so he says. So that would be through Badu Jack or Zurdo Ramirez, assuming that he beats Junior Dorticos, right? And he doesn't get upset. So I wouldn't be mad at Jai Apataya for not entertaining it. Do I think David Benavidez is serious? I kind of don't really think he's serious. Just like with the Zurdo Ramirez, I don't really think he's serious. I think that his target is and probably should be Dimitri Bivol, or the Bivol Beterbiev winner, but most likely Bivol. But yeah, I just don't think Jai Apataya should entertain it yet. However, I mean, if Jai Apataya does talk big, you know, and then he goes and fights Claudio Squayo, who's ranked number 14, right? Nobody knows him, an undefeated Italian, but he was an undersized Italian as well, you know, Italian fighter, and he got mollywopped, he got smoked, he got his jaw broke, literally. So I don't really, I wouldn't be mad at it. I mean, Jai Apataya, if he's as dominant as he said, he should probably entertain it. This would be a big fight. But you know what's even funnier to me is the fact that, you know, David Benavidez is talking about going to cruiserweight for the second guy, right? Gilberto Ramirez was the first one. Now Jai Apataya. So imagine, now I want to go back in history, right? When he wants to fight Saul Canelo Alvarez, aka Cinnamon, you know what I'm saying? The face of boxing. So we want Cinnamon to fight a cruiserweight, huh? Now, of course, he'll be moving up because Benavidez is at 175, right? But currently, that's what Canelo has been saying, and that's what anybody who watches boxing been saying as well, that Dave Benavidez is a big guy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that he wouldn't fight Jai Apataya or anybody else at cruiserweight or Zurdo Ramirez, but we have to realize that this guy has not only talked about, has not only been talked about as being a bigger super middleweight by Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade and whoever else has fought him, you know, and Canelo as well. Now he's talking about, then they have talked about, even Jim Lamb, they have talked about him eventually going to heavyweight. And now he's talking about challenging another guy at cruiserweight. So, you know, and I'm not making an excuse for Cinnamon, because I still want that fight. I want that fight. But if it doesn't happen, I'm not upset, because I do agree with Canelo when he says that, oh yeah, David Benavidez is coming in 25 pounds heavier. And literally, going from light heavyweight to cruiserweight is 25 pounds, because cruiserweight is what, 200, anything below 200. So 24 pounds, excuse me, because, you know, light heavyweight's at 175 and cruiserweight's at 199 or 200. You know what I'm saying? So that's the limit. So I just think that it is just funny when you think about stuff like that. You know, I just think that Canelo, I've always said, I think Canelo's a small super middleweight, hence Terrence Crawford trying to fight him, right? Because he's a smaller super middleweight, you know. And if you look at Canelo's fights at super middleweight 168, he's usually, if not all the time, the smaller guy, not just in height and verticality, but also in mass as well, you know. So I mean, look at him in his last fight against Edgar Berlanga, or I mean, sorry, his last fight was William Skull. His fight before that was Edgar Berlanga. His fight before that was Jaime Munguia. Go look at the size differential. You see what I'm saying? So I mean, I think that does matter, and I think a lot of fighters do get away with utilizing their, I don't want to say superior, but, you know, additional physicality that they have because of their extra size, you know. And so, and obviously Canelo has overcome that, but I think that we should recognize when fighters do overcome a size disparity, as opposed to thinking that, oh, okay, this is just a normal. Nah, man, you know, Canelo went to 175 for 2 fights. Sergey Kovalev, who he beat, and Dmitry Bivol, who he lost to. There's a reason why he's not campaigning at 175, because it's too big for him. Just like Gervonta Tank Davis, right? He went to 140 for 1 fight against Mario Barrios. There's a reason why he didn't campaign there, because it's too big for him. I don't think there's anything wrong with recognizing your limits or seeing that, you know. And then when you see somebody else that's a big guy, and you know that there aren't any rehydration limits, then I don't see the problem with that, you know, especially when the guy that is big is talking about going to not only is literally at a weight class above where you're campaigning at, but he's also talking about going potentially to another weight class above that. So two weight classes to where you're campaigning at. So, you know, I mean, I don't know. I just think it's crazy. I think it's crazy, man. You know, I think Benavidez tried to keep his name relevant. He might be, but I mean, I believe that he'll fight him though. You know, that's one thing I'll say about David Benavidez. You know, whether it's to keep his name relevant or not, I think he'll fight him. I believe that he'll fight Zerto, and I believe that he'll fight Jabatai. Do I believe that he'll fight him right now? That's a question. You know, I don't know if he'll fight him right now. But I mean, obviously, you know, we got Dmitry Bivol and Artur Beterbiev. Their fight hasn't even officially been announced yet for their trilogy, but we're assuming that it'll be in October. So he obviously can't get any unifications at light heavyweight. So I think he would fight him. If Jabatai agreed, I'd be kind of disappointed, because I don't see David Benavidez as a guy that's just a clout chaser or a capper like that. So even if he's trying to stay relevant, I would be disappointed. So I believe him. Anybody that Benavidez calls out, historically speaking, he's been willing to do it. So I got to give him that benefit of the doubt, and I believe that he would do it. But I don't think that I think he knows. So I kind of agree with you though, Oscar, because I think he knows that what's the name is not looking forward to fighting him, right? I think he recognizes that Jabatai is not really interested in fighting him. So, you know, it's a little easier to call out people when you know that they're not going to reciprocate that same energy. So we'll see how it goes. But I definitely think that David Benavidez, when the time permits, let's say if he fights Bivol and let's say he beats him, or he fights Beterbiev and he beats him, the winner of Beterbiev and Bivol trilogy, I think he would move up to cruiserweight and fight Zerto and Jabatai. That's just my personal opinion on that, man. But yeah, man, David Benavidez and Jabatai, that's kind of crazy, man. But speaking of also David Benavidez news, I just dropped a video on this last night, man. Eddie Hearn has announced that he's been in contact with PBC in regards to a David Benavidez and Callum Smith fight. So we might see PBC and Matchroom fighting one another, or collaborating, I should say, in a fight with one another. And I think that's a proper route to go. You know, I've said this since April. I literally dropped a video on it back in April. I said that Dave Benavidez most likely is going to fight Callum Smith. Callum Smith is an English interim champion for the WBO, and Dave Benavidez is an American recently elevated champion for the WBC at the light heavyweight division. So I just think that there's not a lot of intriguing fights at light heavyweight. Like, it's very top heavy. And of course, Bivol Beterbiev, the de facto best at 175, they're fighting each other in a trilogy, which I love. I don't even know why people are disappointed in that trilogy. That's a great trilogy. And so they're occupied with 3 of the belts. And then, you know, who else is there, really? I mean, David Benavidez could fight Michael Eifert. Maybe Callum Smith could fight Anthony Yard, or David Benavidez could fight Anthony Yard. Though those are options, but with Joshua Buatsi losing to Callum Smith, which we called, by the way, I think that Callum Smith and Dave Benavidez just makes sense. I'm saying? It's a big fight for both of them. It's a significant fight. And I think that while it's not necessary, because Callum Smith, since he's the interim champion, he does have a claim to the winner of Beterbiev and Bivol, but so does David Benavidez, being unified, but also, being a champion in WBC, but also it's no guarantee that they get that, right? Because we can't forget about the IBF mandatory challenger, Michael Eifert, right? So Michael Eifert is there too. We cannot ignore him. Could he potentially get step aside money because he's a relatively unknown, low profile guy? Yeah, that could happen. But it just makes sense for Benavidez and Callum Smith to fight, because they may not even get the winner of Beterbiev and Bivol. It's not automatic that they get them next anyway, because there is an order and protocol to things, despite what people might think, because boxing is a convoluted and complicated and a crazy sport, right? It seems chaotic at times, but there is some type of order to it, albeit very very disorganized order, you know what I'm saying? And but it is some type of order, and it has a lot of entropy though, but disorder, I should say. But I do think that that fight just makes sense, man. That fight makes sense, and I think Dave Benavidez wins. I would say that I wouldn't recommend that for Callum Smith. Callum Smith's a tough guy. He only has 2 losses. I don't think, if you're not a top guy, you won't beat Callum Smith. It just so happens that Dave Benavidez is a top guy. You know what I'm saying? And Callum Smith has lost to 2 other top guys. Beterbiev, he got stopped. That was his last loss, and his first loss was to Cinnamon, the face of boxing. And there's no shame in that, but I do think David Benavidez, whether you like him or not, he is a top guy, and I like him. And I do agree with Oscar. That fight is fire. So yeah, I think that fight is just great, and it makes sense, man. And sticking with Eddie Hearn, man. Hopefully that fight gets made. Will it get made? I don't know, but I do like it. If I'm Callum Smith, maybe I'd go for Anthony Yarde, but I'm not sure he beats Anthony Yarde either. So if you're gonna go for it, you might as well go for it and go for a title, with David Benavidez, in my personal opinion. But I wouldn't be mad at Callum Smith if he doesn't want that fight. He is 35, which is not old in life, but is older in boxing or as a top level athlete. And I wouldn't say he's not on a major decline. I wouldn't even say he's on a decline, but he's definitely not at his peak. He's not in his prime, right? Callum Smith. So I definitely think that you have to be a great fighter to beat him. But I do think that Dave Benavidez is that great fighter. And I think Dave Benavidez, if it does come to fruition, I have David Benavidez beating him within 10. Yo, what's good? My guy Ryan Frazier, Boxing Talk up north, man. My dog, what's good, bro? Big member in the building. Don said, yo, what live stream do you use? OBS. But yeah, so yeah, I use OBS, bro. Yeah, man, I just think that these fights, we're in pretty good hands, man. We're in pretty good hands. I like these fights. Like I said, light heavyweight is pretty much a top heavy division, but it's very interesting, man. It's very interesting. So I'm looking forward to it, man. I got David Benavidez. If that fight comes into fruition, I got David Benavidez stopping him late, like in 10. So that's just my personal opinion on that. But we did pick Callum Smith right for the upset on Joshua Buatsi now. So Callum Smith is definitely a live dog. And then even if Callum Smith and Dave Benavidez fight, I would still be interested in Anthony Yarde and Joshua Buatsi. But it's, of course, that lost a lot of traction with Joshua Buatsi losing, But I mean, Anthony Yarde's not an undefeated fighter, right? He lost to Kovalev and Beterbiev, so which aren't bad losses either. But you don't have to be undefeated to make a good fight. I still think Joshua Buatsi and Anthony Yarde's a good fight, and they can still fight. Not sure if Buatsi still wants that. And then let Callum Smith and Benavidez fight, though. Callum Smith, Dave Benavidez fight, Buatsi and Yarde fight. I think that's still great, And sticking with Eddie Hearn, man, in Matchroom, bro. Andy Cruz. Y'all want to talk about Richardson Hitchins, or we want to talk about Andy Cruz? Let's talk about Andy Cruz, man. So Andy Cruz, man, can he get a title shot next? Y'all go check out my brother Ryan Frazier, Boxing Talk up north, man. My guy representing Canada very well, man. I call him Big Nalf over here, man. Big Nalf. You know what I'm saying? Go check him out, man. Dope channel, dope person, man. Go check him out. Content creator, all boxing, baby. All boxing, But yeah, check out Ryan Frazier, Boxing Talk up north. But yeah, Andy Cruz, man, he just destroyed Mishiro. And when he did that, I'm not gonna lie, man. He did that in I had Andy Cruz winning. I didn't have Andy Cruz winning like that. Oh my goodness, bro. Andy Cruz put that pressure on Mishiro, man. I'm not gonna lie, man. Shout out to the Japanese contender, but I feel like his corner did him kind of dirty, man. They should have stopped that fight. Now people will say, "Oh, it's a culture thing. They don't stop fights." Bullshit. Everybody stops fights when it's too much for their fighter. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if you're Japanese. I don't care if you're Nigerian. I don't care if you're American, Mexican, Australian, Jamaican, or anything in between. We've seen fights get stopped before. They should have stopped that fight. Andy Cruz beating the hell out of him, the holy hell out of him. You know what I'm talking about? So, so I mean, I had Andy Cruz winning, but I didn't have Andy Cruz winning like that, man. That was super impressive. Mishiro's a tough guy, and I think he showed that. You know, even though he got dominated, he still demonstrated and exhibited a toughness, you know, a fighting spirit. So his toughness should not and cannot be questioned. But Andy Cruz skills, whew, they can't be questioned either. That right hand was landing at will, man. I'm talking about he was landing everything he was throwing, man. So that was the IBF title eliminator, and the IBF champion is clearly Raymond Murataya from he beat Zaur Abduliev last time out, who only had one loss prior, if I'm not mistaken, and that was to Devin Haney. And so he's been elevated with the retirement of Vasily Lomachenko. So next up is Andy Cruz, right? Slow down, you know what I'm saying? Well, he got to hold up because Murataya, according to the IBF and their typical protocols, he has about 9 months to a year to fight his mandatory, which would be Andy Cruz. So that's plenty of time for him to get like a light touch, you know what I'm saying? And I think he will do that because no disrespect to Murataya, I think he's a good fighter, but Andy Cruz is a very dangerous fight for him. I would favor Andy Cruz in that fight. That doesn't mean that I count Raymond Murataya out, but I favor Andy Cruz in that fight. And what I'm saying is that his matchmaker is top rank, right? His promoter is top rank and matchmaker is Bob Arum. So, you know, with that being said, I think Bob Arum, he has a pretty good eye for talent, right? I think he'll recognize Andy Cruz as being a difficult matchup. Not saying that he won't believe that Raymond Murataya could win, but what I'm saying is that I think he would want to get him a lighter touch and get him some more money in his pocket before going to fight the Andy Cruz in his mandatory, you know, and I don't think that's a bad thing, you know, because Murataya is still a younger fighter. He's not a super young fighter. He's old enough to get it in with Andy Cruz. But I'm saying that I'm not mad at a fighter taking the best path for them, you know, and I don't think there's anything wrong with him getting a light touch as his first defense and then doubling back on Andy Cruz. Now, if he doesn't fight him at all, that'd be crazy. But I think Andy Cruz having 6 fights, I think it would serve him well and behoove him to get another fight in the meantime as well. So I think it works out for both if the fight doesn't happen immediately. Now, if the fight doesn't happen after that, that's when I have some questions. We got my boy Just Do in the building, man. What's good, brethren? Boss man, Just Do, man. Another dope channel. Y'all go check him out, man. Just Do Boxing. Yes, sir. What's good? What's good? Yes, sir, man. Appreciate you coming through. But I would say like Andy Cruz and Raymond Murataya, I will lean towards Andy Cruz for sure. But don't be surprised, even though it's a title eliminator. We've seen title eliminators determine a guy that's next up for the belt, but doesn't immediately get it, you know, due to the circumstances. So while I expect Andy Cruz to fight Murataya eventually, I don't expect it immediately, but that'd be to my pleasant surprise, right? Because we want to see good fights, especially at 135. We have a lot of talent at 135 at the top. You know, of course, you have Gervonta Tank Davis, who I personally believe is the best at 135. We also have Shakur Stevenson, who I think is the second best, but I want them to fight so we can see who's really dominant, right? If Shakur beats Tank, he beats Tank. If Tank beats Shakur, he beats Shakur, you know? So I want to see them fight. And there's a lot of stagnation at 135, which I don't appreciate. But seeing that Raymond Murataya is a champion now and they already lined up Andy Cruz for him eventually, you know what I'm saying? I think that's a great sign. And then also the WBO being vacated by Keyshawn Davis and his lack of professionalism and his misstep, you know, which I think he could bounce back from. Of course, I'm not counting him out like a lot of people are for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying? People make mistakes. His is not the worst that we've seen, you know, but it was bad though, especially his lack of professionalism and his lack of you know, just respect for the sport and his opponent, you know. So he was stripped, and now the WBO could be having Sam Noakes, who's the #1 ranked opponent in the contender in the WBO, going against #2 ranked Abdullah Mason. So we got the UK versus America potentially in a fight to determine who's the WBO champion. I like that fight, man. That's tough, right? Because Sam Noakes, he's not really proven, you know, but he's been doing good and looking good, just like Abdullah Mason has been doing good and looking good. But I'll say the difference between Abdullah Mason is obviously he's American. So with that comes with he has more eyes on him and he's more critiqued, right? So I think that Sam Noakes, I'm not really sure on Sam Noakes. I mean, his last fight was against Patrick Balaz, who was that? And then his fight before that was against Ryan Walsh, who I'm a little bit more familiar with, but still at the end of the day, I would say, who the heck is that?
Who the fuck is that?
You feel
guy?
me? So
Who the fuck is that? You know damn well who I am. Who the fuck is that?
I've been seeing some some of our UK brethren say that, oh, Sam Noakes could upset Abdullah Mason. No, Abdullah Mason could upset Sam Noakes. Don't make it seem like Sam Noakes is some underdog. Abdullah Mason is 21 years old. You know what I'm saying? He's still having a lot of career progression and career development. So how would Abdullah Mason losing to Sam Noakes be some upset? It's an upset because we see a lot of potential in Abdullah Mason, but he's 21. Sam Noakes is 27. You see what I'm saying? So they might be on the same level, but that's a testament to how good Abdullah Mason is, and also a testament to the fact that our UK brethren and sister, while I think England loves boxing, I think they have the best fan base, they're not the best at discernment, meaning that they don't know how to tell, in my personal opinion, who's really hype and who's really the goods. And as an English boxer, a UK boxer, you know, they are the beneficiaries of being overhyped and oversold a lot of times, like because like I said, they love boxing over there. So a guy who wouldn't even be a club fighter in America could go to England and be a star. You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot of guys that are mediocre at best, but they're pretty big stars and substantial stars in the UK. So I'm not sold on Sam Noakes. You know, I don't know how good he is yet. He looked good, of course, but is he good? I have no clue. It's still yet to be determined. So but I don't think that if he beats, I think he can beat Abdullah Mason. And if he does, I don't think it's going to be an upset though, because I don't think Abdullah Mason is like he's still young, you know, he's still growing and still developing, man. So to say that he's upset is try to set it up like, oh, Sam Noakes has no chance. I mean, y'all telling me that Sam Noakes is good. So either you don't believe in Sam Noakes like that, or you don't believe in Sam Noakes like that. You know what I'm saying? So, because he hasn't fought anybody like that. I think that Abdullah Mason definitely has a higher ceiling than Sam Noakes, but Sam Noakes has a chance to win. He's the older fighter, more seasoned fighter, more experienced fighter, you know? So I would love that fight, and I don't know who would win. Of course, I'll be rooting for Abdullah Mason, and I would lean towards Abdullah Mason, but I wouldn't say that. I'd say it's a 50-50 fight. I want to say it's a huge upset. You know, I just feel like people just try to hedge their bets, you know? So if he loses, they could be like, oh, well, you know, he wasn't, I didn't really think he was going to win anyway. And then if he wins, you'd be like, oh yeah, man, this guy's really the truth. You know, he was an underdog, and no, right? Ain't no freaking underdog. They're both young. Abdullah Mason is younger, much younger, 21 years old. He's not really experienced. Sam Noakes should be the favorite. If he's as good as everybody says, he should be the favorite, you know? So, I don't know why they're trying to pitch him like he's some underdog in that fight. But yeah, I would love that fight. And that just go back to say that 135 is getting some movement. And I know Abdullah Mason's about that life, right? He wants all the smoke. So I would see some unifications in the future, hopefully. And even if Shakur and Tank don't fight, right? With the rumors being that Gervonta might be trying to fight Jake Paul if he gets past Lamont Roach, then Shakur Stevenson could fight Raymond Murataya or the winner of Abdullah Mason and Sam Noakes. Now I will say this though. You know, obviously with Andy Cruz, you know, if he doesn't get the Raymond Murataya fight, and if Eddie Hearn really wants it, right, really wants a title shot, well then, you know, there's another obvious option that he could take. There's another route that he could take. He could fight his stablemate in Shakur Stevenson if Shakur beats Zepeda, right, which I think he will. But if the WBC American champion Shakur Stevenson beats Zepeda, then Andy Cruz, if they're really that confident in him, could fight Shakur Stevenson for a title. But I don't think that's likely to happen, because I think Eddie Hearn wants to save that fight for a potential big super unification fight between Andy Cruz if he beats Raymond Murataya, and Shakur Stevenson if he beats William Zepeda. That's an in-house matchroom affair, right? Andy Cruz and Shakur Stevenson. I love that fight, man, for a unification in the future. So even I would advocate that Eddie Cruz and Shakur don't fight right now unless it's for a title. You know what I'm saying? Or unless one of them lose. It doesn't matter if Shakur loses or Andy Cruz loses, then it doesn't matter. But right now, as it sits, with Shakur being one of those guys, one of the top two guys, him and Gervonta Tank Davis being undefeated, I think it'll be premature to let him fight a guy who's 6-0. I don't care how good he is. It just wouldn't have the momentum and the steam. But now if that guy who's 6-0 is 7-0 and he's a champion, then that raises the profile and the intrigue of the fight. So I'm looking forward to that. But I think that's a unification fight in the future, man. Now sticking with Matchroom, man. Matchroom and Eddie Hearn. Oh, before I transition, my guy Oscar says Sam Noakes and Dalton Smith fully developed. Exactly. Dalton Smith is another prospect. You know what I'm saying? Who I'm not sold on. I don't know because he hasn't fought anybody yet. He had a good win against Jorge Zepeda and he stopped him. But how good is Dalton Smith? I don't know. Moses Atama, how good is he? I don't know. Sam Noakes, how good is he? I don't know. You know, there's so many English fighters that you literally just don't know. And then you can also give examples of guys that are mediocre at best, but they're big stars. Like Derek Chisora is a big star. Shout out to Derek Chisora. But in America, he wouldn't be a star because he has 13 losses, and we don't. That's why I said that England is great for boxing because they don't really they really love boxing. They don't care about a loss or two. But America, bro, you can't have one blemish on your record. They're gonna throw you in the trash. You see what I'm saying? And I think I think that type of treatment of just throwing fighters out because they have one loss, I think that in itself is trash.
Know your fucking place, trash.
So that's one thing I would say that America. We need to appreciate boxers more. We just don't appreciate boxing because as soon as you lose, they want to toss you out. Even if you're Errol Spence and you lose to Terrence Crawford, if you're 2 pound for pound greats, the loser, they want to throw him right out the crib. Right out. They throw him right out the crib as soon as you lose, bro. It don't matter who you lost to. You can lose to a Hall of Fame, all-time great. If you lose, they're done with you. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing I salute our English brethren and sister for, man. I love that. You know, that they don't throw away fighters, but at the same time, they don't know how to determine who's really a good fighter, who's just really the beneficiary of great matchmaking. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at who else? I mean, I'm still not sold on Fabio Wardley. You know, he has a big right hand shot to him, but Justice Hooney was piecing him up on late notice. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sold on him yet. You know, shout out to his big right hand, you know, but I'm still not sold on him. Who else? Look at Nick Ball. Nick Ball is about to have consecutive title defenses against smaller guys. He's a WBA champion. I don't even know how President Gilberto Mendoza and the WBA are even approving these fights, but he just fought TJ Doheny after coming off of a loss at 122. He brought him up. And then now he's bringing up Sam Goodman from 122 and about to fight him. No one's saying nothing. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know about I don't know about that, but we'll see, man. We'll keep it going. But sticking with Matchroom, man, I agree with you, Oscar. Sticking with Matchroom though. Hitchins just had a great win against George Kambosos, right? Which I love that fight, man. He dominated George Kambosos. Shout out to George Kambosos, ferocious. You know, I thought he's a good fighter. You know, a lot of people are hard on George Kambosos, call him a bozo and all this other stuff. He's a champion, you know, former champion. You know how many boxers box that don't become a champion? So I think we should chill on that, man. But he is over the hill. And Richardson Hitchins, while I don't think that this win makes him the best of his division, I do think that this win was a big statement because not only did he dominate him and not lose a round, he did what he said he was going to do. Also, he stopped him. So he showed that there was levels and he obliterated him. You know what I'm saying? And he's the second person to stop him. The other person that stopped him was Lomachenko. We gave Lomachenko a lot of credit. Well, Richardson Hitchins stopped him in a more dominant fashion and a faster fashion. You know what I'm saying? So I think that he gets all the credit. Now, does it make me think that he's better than Gary Anton Russell or Teofimo Lopez or who's the champion or Alberto Puello? Not necessarily, but it is a big win. You know, it's a big statement win because one of those champions, one of his fellow champions in his division, they lost to Kambosos, and that'd be Teofimo Lopez, you know, the WBO champion. So I think this is a great win. And I do think it was a good statement. It's going to raise his profile, man. It's a good resume builder. Now, speaking of resume, you know, Hitchins at the end, you know, in addition to calling out Teofimo Lopez, or no, he didn't really call out Teofimo. He said he would fight him. He wanted to fight him for a minute. He mostly focused on calling out Devin Haney. And then Teofimo jumped in the ring and he said, "Oh, I'll fight Teofimo too," you know, and he wanted to fight Teofimo for the longest, but just like typical Teofimo fashion, he doesn't really want to fight anybody, right? But he agreed to fight Richardson Hitchins for an all New York affair. I doubt it'll come into fruition because we've seen him call out Terrence Crawford, Brian Norman, Jerron Boots Ennis, Gervonta Tank Davis, Richardson Hitchins, even Ryan Garcia, and he hasn't fought any of these guys. So I don't believe Teofimo will fight any of these guys until I see him. You know, he's supposed to fight Devin Haney, turn that down. Supposed to fight Keyshawn Davis, turn that down. So I don't believe Teofimo until he's in the ring and that first round bell goes ding, man. He's a coward if you ask me, a racist pussy ass coward in my opinion. So but I would like to see him fight Richardson Hitchins. I think that's a great fight for that unification. But I want to focus on this though. Like I said, I don't believe what happened. I think that is crazy. Before I get there, I think it's crazy that these are two title holders from the same state. Forget the same country. They're from the same state. And because of Teofimo, I don't think that it'll happen. I actually think that Richardson Hitchins versus Devin Haney is more likely to happen. I think that's more plausible, you know, because I do think that Devin Haney would fight Richardson Hitchins. I think Richardson Hitchins will fight Devin Haney. Now, where would they fight at though? Because Devin Haney he hasn't officially been at 147. He's been at a catchweight against Jose Carlos Ramirez at 144, I think it was. But you know, Richard Hitchins is at 140. He's a title holder there, so that's why I think the big barrier would be. Of course, them not being on the same promotional company, but Richardson Hitchins just announced that he's not with Matchroom, and to where Matchroom got upset, right? You know, being Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn said he felt disrespected. So check out what he said here, man. I think it's funny. You know, check it out right here. He said, "Explain this to me, doctor. Tell me why people saying he got Loma scraps, but wouldn't that mean Loma got Janice scraps? Come on now. They don't want to say anybody you mean Haney scraps. I think you meant Haney scraps. Yeah. They only say that for certain fighters. You know how that goes, man. A certain fighter gets this person scraps, but the other fighter, they get applauded for being somebody else's scraps. But check this out. This is what Eddie Hearn said about. This is what Eddie Hearn said about Devin Haney. I mean, Richardson Hitchins.
When he gets in the ring after, and he, do you think
This is in regards to Hitchins.
by the way he spoke in the ring after about being a free agent? Because I kind of looked at your
This is in regards to Richardson Hitchins saying that he's a free agent after beating Kambosos.
face, and you didn't look too happy.
Yeah, I did feel disrespected because it's not him. It's just dogs around him that put things like, I mean, there is no loyalty in boxing. You got to look up.
Look what he just said right there. There's no loyalty in boxing. So everything you say after this, disregard it. Because you just admitted yourself there's no loyalty in boxing. You know why you know that? Because you're not loyal. But let's keep it going.
That put things like, I mean, there is no loyalty in boxing. You got to look after yourself. But when someone has come in, when you were on the floor, and you know, I remember when I first met Richardson Hitchins, I mean, the door of his car was falling off.
Why you gonna put the man business out in the street like that, bro? What you mean the man door falling off of his whip, bro? Why you gonna say that, bro? So my poor boy Richardson Hitchins going through it, man. He was borrowing clothes from AB, borrowing chains from Javante. Now his door falling off. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't my boy was struggling, man. Ain't nothing wrong with the struggle, man. Makes you who you are. Look where he's at now, man. Shout out to Richardson Hitchins. I love hearing these stories. There's nothing to be ashamed about. This is something to talk about, write a book about. You know what I'm saying? Success story. Let's keep it going. Rags to riches, bitches. Let's keep it going.
And to be honest, I've spent a lot of money and invested in a young man that I really respect and admire. And I've boxed him at Madison Square Garden. I've headlined him in Orlando when we really didn't sell any tickets and we lost a lot of money.
I agree with him now. Hey, facts. Eddie Hearn's telling the truth right now. You know what I'm saying? I have something to say about the respect thing and an admire thing. The admiration doesn't make you promote a boxer. I'm sure there's a lot of people that you admire that you wouldn't give a promotional deal as a boxer. So I want to make sure that we don't get lost in the sauce. Eddie Hearn didn't find some kid that was struggling on the street and he was an altruistic human being and was like, oh yeah, let me take care of this guy because I respect and admire him. No, you saw an opportunity in Richardson Hitchins. You believed in his skills because if he didn't have said skills, you would not promote him. It's a give and take. There's no favors. You're not no righteous Englishman coming to America and saving a random Haitian American off the streets of New York because you felt bad for him and you admire him. Fuck out of here. Let's keep it going though.
I kept with it. I headlined him in Las Vegas, where again, we didn't sell many tickets and we lost money. Then I paid for him to get the opportunity to fight Liam Paro for the world title. Then I paid up for a bigger...
In Puerto Rico, by the way. Not in Australia. In Puerto Rico. Liam Paro's not Puerto Rican, just in case you didn't know. Neither is Richardson Hitchins. Okay. So remember, it was in Puerto Rico.
Big opponent in George Kambosos. Paid up for the big homecoming in New York. But Richardson is a very good kid. He's just got some snakes around him. And those snakes will make you feel like they're your guy.
I'm not even going to say nothing right here. I'm going to keep going.
But the reality is they're bloodsuckers who actually, certain individuals, take a bigger percentage or the same percentage as the promoter that's bankrolling you and paying for your entire path in the sport and making the investment. Managers have zero risk. right?
I disagree with that, but you know, I get what he's saying.
They just let the promoter do all the work. They negotiate the deal. And by the way, a good manager is good for your career. But
That
they
part.
just let the promoter do all the work, make the investment, risk their money, and then after the fight go, thank you very much, pay me for a couple of phone calls, right? And I just understand the game. So it doesn't infuriate me. I just go, you're a dog.
You a dog. You a dog.
You'll get what's fucking coming to you. That's all. And, you know, that's boxing. So
I'll take it a step further. Not only is that boxing, that's business. You know, that's business. Unfortunately, you know, there's a lot of snakes. There's a lot of dogs out there. And I like Eddie Hearn. You know that for me, he's my favorite promoter. You know, I agree with Eddie. He chased his life with the paydays, but hey, it's boxing. I do agree. I don't think he said any lies, Ryan. My point is this, though. This is business, right? And who cares? I'm gonna be honest with you. Who cares? To me, it just sounds like you're complaining. I mean, how many times have promoters dropped boxers that didn't perform, or they had a loss? I mean, have you seen Liam Paro with Eddie Hearn? I mean, he was just telling us that Liam Paro was the best. He lost to Richardson Hitchins. You seen Liam Paro since? I'm asking you, or anybody, not you, Ryan. I'm talking about anybody. Have you seen Liam Paro since? Liam Paro had his first defense not in his hometown of Australia or home country. He had it in Puerto Rico because Eddie Hearn had a prior deal, right? Subriel Matias lost. Have you seen him with Matchroom since? I haven't. Do you think that the loss to Liam Paro had anything to do with that? I do. It may not have been the only reason why Subriel Matias left Matchroom, but it's definitely part of it. We're not going to act oblivious to the facts. We're not going to act ignorant, right? We're not going to act naive. We're not going to approach I don't care how sad his story is. We're not going to approach it with naivete. So yes, of course, Eddie Hearn did some stuff for Richardson Hitchins, but Richardson Hitchins did some stuff for Eddie Hearn as well. Like get him a championship belt under his Matchroom label. Once again, Eddie Hearn's making it seem like he just found some random kid in the streets of New York, coming from England, like he's just some posh Englishman going down to America, trying to give candies and free housing to random people on the street. No, he saw Richardson Hitchins as a gold mine. He saw Richardson Hitchins' talent that he could capitalize off of and make money off of and build his brand off of and build his footprint in America off of. And that's why he invested in him. That's called an investment. It's like when you invest in stocks, right? I know, Ryan, you a family man. I'm sure you probably got some stocks investments. You don't invest in Netflix because you're just feeling bad for Netflix and you want them to do so good. No, you're investing in them because you think that they will perform well. You've seen their past performances and you think that they will continue to skyrocket. And then your money is going to help them skyrocket. And then when they skyrocket, you're going to get paid back in return on your investment, ROI. So Eddie Hearn is trying to get ROI. He thought that his ROI was going to go a little bit further. He didn't anticipate that Richardson Hitchins was going to leave him a little bit prematurely, according to him. But that's the risk you take. Because you also drop. I see promoters drop. It's like the NBA. We always talk about, oh, this basketball player should be loyal to this team. Freak that. For what? We seen Harrison Barnes get traded in the middle of the layup line during a game. No one cried and gave him a pity party. Oh, but if a basketball player leaves an organization, oh, they have to be loyal. Oh, they're disloyal. This ain't no relationship. What you mean disloyal? What you mean unfaithful? You could trade me at any time. You could get rid of me at any time if I don't perform. But if I leave you and do what's best for me and my family and my interests, all of a sudden your feelings are hurt. Cry me a river. Justin Timberlake. You feel what I'm saying? So no, I don't feel bad for Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn was kicking what's his name? Devin Haney is the best guy. Now I know Devin Haney has Devin Haney Promotions, and I know he was never fully signed to Matchroom, but Eddie Hearn was acting like he was signed to Matchroom. But then that Ryan Garcia debacle happened, and what happened? Oh, Devin Haney couldn't even get a ticket in the building. Now, shout out, I blame Devin Haney for feeling entitled, because you have to realize that you are your own entity, so you would not get complimentary tickets and stuff like that. You're not entitled to that. Eddie Hearn was doing that off the strength of y'all relationship and your performances. But I'm sure that Devin Haney probably got tickets given to him and set aside before. But all of a sudden he loses to Ryan Garcia. Now all of a sudden he ain't got tickets to the venue no more. You see what I'm saying? So on one hand, I'd be like, Devin Haney, you're entitled because you're not signed to Matchroom. He doesn't owe you anything. But on the other hand, I don't think that this is anything that was foreign to Devin Haney. He probably did this all the time. He probably always could have. Eddie Hearn probably told him, hey, anytime, any one of my events, you can always come to. I got you. But all of a sudden, he doesn't perform well against Ryan Garcia before the PEDs come out. Now, all of a sudden, Eddie Hearn ain't got no tickets for him. Yeah. So, no, please don't get it twisted. This is business. I don't feel bad for Eddie Hearn at all. You'll be all right. You got this time. You'll be all right. Now, does it look bad for Richardson Hitchins? Of course it looks bad. It does leave it does seem distasteful, but it always does. It always seems that way with the athletes. It's like when the guys in the suit, particularly Caucasian gentlemen in a suit, we'd be like, oh, you know, it's business. Anything they could do. Frank Warren could cut this fighter. Frank Warren could do a bad contract for Anthony Yard, have him sitting out for years. Andre Ward under a bad deal, he couldn't even fight for the prime of his career. It's okay then. It's okay then. But if the athlete, because they're supposed to be ignorant and dumb, right? You know, and they're supposed to be the ones that are getting all the favors, you know, and then the woe is me, right? Especially when they're darker complexion, whether it's black or brown or whatever you want to put it as, you know, then all of a sudden, oh, it's because they're disloyal. Oh, they betrayed us. Oh, they don't care about who's looking out for them. We're not family, bro. we're not. It's a business relationship. You know what I'm talking about? Because Dan Gilbert, the owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers, if LeBron wasn't LeBron, he would have traded you. You wouldn't have had to leave. He would have got you up out of there. He would have cut you or traded you. It's just because you're LeBron, all of a sudden he feels betrayed. But everybody else, he done traded and got up out of there. Nobody said nothing. What about that guy that had family in Ohio? What about that? What about those players that had their kids in school that you traded to Sacramento Kings? Did you ask him if he wanted to go? Did you ask him if he wanted to remain loyal in Cleveland? No, you just got him up out of there. So same with Eddie Hearn. If you once you don't show any value, he's gonna cut you. So no, hell no, I don't feel bad for him. You know, of course, Richardson Hitchins, they're gonna make it seem like, oh, Richardson Hitchins is doing such a bad thing, but no, heck no. Now I will say this though, the reason why I do think that Richardson Hitchins may have made a mistake is because Eddie Hearn and Turki Alalshikh are like this. Case in point, Eddie Hearn has come out and said that Turki has essentially supported Eddie Hearn and had his back in this whole fiasco, saying explicitly, according to Eddie Hearn now, he's saying that he will not work with Richardson Hitchins unless he's under the Matchroom umbrella, which is cool. You know, Eddie Hearn and Turki are cool, right? But I just find that funny because, you know, that's one thing I think Richardson Hitchins should be careful about being blackballed in the industry, you know. But I would just say this, man. I love how Turki, I shout out to Big Turk. I rock with Turk, man. He's been great for boxing, in my opinion, in my perspective, right? But Turki has rules for loyalty. Turki even has rules for different fighting styles. But where are the rules for Turki and Saudi Arabia and Riyadh season when it comes to racism, when it comes to hatred, when it comes to discrimination? Or what about when it comes to cheating? I ain't see no rules about that. Oh, but when it comes to loyalty between a boxer and a promoter, now all of a sudden you don't want to work with a boxer unless he's with a certain promoter because of loyalty. But you don't care about racism, hatred, discrimination, or cheating. You don't care. What about? I think he needs to implement some rules for that. But you want to implement some rules for loyalty and fighting styles because you care about the sport. That has human participants, but you don't care about humanity. That sounds contradictory to me at best. You can't care about humans in a sport that is played and ran by humans if you don't care about humanity. Because if you are a human that doesn't that doesn't exhibit some type of humanity, some level of humanity, then you are subhuman. So I just think it's funny, man. People have all these rules, man, you know, and regulations and stuff, but then they miss the common sense ones. Shout out to TM. TM said they did Matias so dirty. Talk to him. He said they did Matias so dirty.
Yeah.
Facts. Salute to Dev. He went to the plug. He went to the plug. Ran off on the plug twice. Shout out to my guy, right? Hey, George the Last Patriot dropping that bread, that cheese, that butter. I appreciate it, bro. Shout out to George's last picture. He said good win for Hitchins, but Kambosos needs to go. Yeah, I'm not mad at that, George. I slightly disagree, man. I don't think George Kambosos has to go. I do think that at least my confidence in his championship aspirations have definitely dwindled. I mean, I didn't think he could be a champion at 140 anyway, but I definitely don't think so now. But I don't think he has to go because I think there's a lot of interesting fights for George Kambosos still out there. You know, I mean, you don't even have to go further. You don't even have to go further than his country, right? You know, he could have a domestic battle with Liam Parle. I'd definitely watch that. I'd have Liam Parle, to your credit. I'd have Liam Parle, but I think there's some interesting fights for George Kambosos if he wants to fight. Now, if he wants to be a champion, you know, which a lot of people want to win, they don't want to lose and they want to be a champion, right? Then I would think, yeah, it's probably time to retire. But I mean, he's still serviceable. He still has interesting fights. Drake already told y'all, no friends in the industry that talk to him. You know what I'm saying? That's your OVO partner there, right? Yeah, facts, Ryan. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad. It's sad. So I agree with you, Ryan. I'm not disagreeing with, I don't think anything Eddie Hearn said was wrong. But I wish he would add in the part that, yeah, I invested in Richardson Hitchins and I wanted a return on my investment. That's it. That's all it is. He feels like he hasn't recuperated the amount of money that he invested yet. He feel like he didn't get a full return. That's the issue. It's not the issue of, oh, Richardson Hitchins is so admirable. Oh, he's so respectful. Oh, he's such a wonderful human being. And I felt him when he was yay high and I raised him and I thought he was going to be like a son to me. No, that's not what it is, bro. You didn't get your return of investment yet. And you didn't think that he was going to skedaddle on your ass. That's what it is. Well, you should have tightened up on that contract, just like you tell the fighters, right? You got to read the contract. Looks like Richardson Hitchins read his contract. And it was whatever, 2 fights, 3 fights, and he up out of there. And you got to understand, too, Richardson Hitchins, and I'm not defending Richardson Hitchins. I'm just saying this is business, right? Richardson Hitchins, what? When Eddie Hearn found him, he left out this part. Richardson Hitchins was in a bad deal that he was able to get out of. How? Himself. Leonard Ellerby. I watched interviews with Richardson Hitchins. I watched the Cigar Talk one. I watched the one with Ak and Barack. You see what I'm saying? I watched another one with him, and he told you that Leonard Ellerby shot to him, let him out of his Floyd Mayweather contract. My point in saying that is that he also said that he spent 5 years under Floyd, and he felt like he was neglected. So on one hand, it's like, yeah, that's dope. Eddie Hearn gave him a good deal and put him to use and believed in him. But on the other hand, it lets you know that Richardson Hitchins probably doesn't want to involve himself in a long-term contract again. So that's probably why you have a short-term deal with Richardson Hitchins, because he's probably had, due to his bad experience with TMT, you know, he's probably like, hey, man, I don't want to be involved in a long-term deal again. So maybe that's why they went in a short-term deal, and I don't see what's wrong with Richardson Hitchins wanting to test the waters. Because you should want to test the waters before you lose. You don't want to lose and then go into free agency, do you? You don't want to go into free agency as a guy who's coming off of a loss and not a champion. This is the best time, the most opportune time to go into free agency. Now, did he do it at the right time? You could argue no, but I could argue yes. Because he used his platform in front of the world off of his biggest win to say, hey, man, Oscar De La Hoya, Golden Boy, look at me. I'm a free agent. Hey, Al Heyman, PBC, look at me. I'm a free agent. Bob Arum, Top Rank, look at me. I'm a free agent. You don't say that on Twitter. You don't say that behind closed doors. Yeah, because, I mean, you want to advertise it, right? So while I'm not saying that it's a good look, but if you get past the surface level of thinking and the superficial aspect of it and realize it's business, he probably did the right thing. And maybe he does have snakes and dogs around him, like Eddie Hearn said. But Eddie Hearn has some snakes and dogs around him, too. You feel me? Matter of fact, you could argue Eddie Hearn's a snake and a dog because he let Conor Ben cheat. That's a little bit doggish to me. That's a little snakish to me. I'm just saying. So. Eddie in his feelings. Thank you, Ryan. That's it. Eddie in his feelings. Eddie in his feelings. You're right. Eddie is in his feelings, man. But like I said, I mean, of course, we're going to look at it because I know you're from Canada. Shout out to all my Canadian brethren and sisters, particularly my Jamaican, you know what I'm saying? Brethren and sisters. Shout out to my guy, Ryan. But I don't want to get too political, but yeah, it's whatever, you know. In America, it's some crazy stuff going on, and some people are, they don't matter. But yeah, so it's just like people will put themselves in a position and put themselves in harm's way and then complain when harm reaches them because they thought that the harm was going to be for somebody else. You know, Eddie Hearn, he should be accustomed to this, you know. And I just think that Turkey, shout out to Turkey, but I think Turkey's full of shit. I think Turkey being involved in a promotion in a promoter business. So if Richardson Hitchens signs with PBC, you're not going to work with him. If he works with Oscar De La Hoya, you're not going to work with him. With Golden Boy, if he signs with Bob Arum and Top Rank, you're not going to work with him. If he signs with Queensberry and Queensberry and Frank Warren, you're not going to work with him because his business deals with Saw with Eddie Hearn. I'm supposed to believe that? If Richardson Hitchens becomes big enough, Turkey will work with him. It's just that Turkey doesn't foresee Richardson Hitchens to become big enough to justify him going out of his way to work with him. But if you remember, Oscar De La Hoya and Turkey were not on the best of terms when Turkey first got involved with boxing. In fact, Oscar De La Hoya said that, hey, man, I'm not going to let any foreign promoter come and take over America. And now they're working hand in hand, literally and figuratively, because they be holding hands. Same with Canelo, Saul Canelo Alvarez, my favorite boxer, the face of boxing. Him and Turkey weren't on the same page. Oh, who's promoting Canelo's next fight? And who promoted Canelo's last fight? I think that'd be Turki Alalshikh. Or put it on, I want to say promoted, but you know what I'm saying? Organize the event. So it doesn't make any sense, you know? It is what it is. It is what it is, man. Shout out to my guy, George the Last Patriot, dropping that bread, that cheese, that butter. He said, the more Kambosos loses at top level, the more the Tio win looks like a fluke. That's true. You're right about that. Starting to look like a lightweight Buster Douglas of this. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I'm not mad at that. That's fair, bro. That's fair. I'm not mad at that, man. I'm not mad at that. Koki says, dude calls himself a doctor, but didn't even finish college. You know I didn't finish college? You know, so funny. Hey, you know what? I love people like Koki, man. First of all, he's an idiot, but I love this, man. So he says that I didn't finish college. I call myself a doctor. Would you like to put money on that? That's number one. Number two, you know, people like to project how they feel about themselves, bro. Just because you're insecure and you're stupid and you're unintelligent and you don't accomplish anything in your life doesn't mean others don't, bro. So you let me know how much money you like to put on that, and I'll gladly show you every degree you want to see, my brother. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's just funny, man. That's how you know people are losers, bro. They try to project how they feel about themselves onto others. It's not my fault that you can't finish anything, bro. You have no goals. You have no aspirations, let alone completing those goals and aspirations. It's not my fault that you're unintelligent, bro. It's not my fault that you're stuck in the hole that you're stuck in. It's not my fault that your pockets are touching. It's not my fault that you broke. It's not my fault that you're hungry. It's not my fault that you're mad at the world and you try to release your anger on the internet because you know that you can't release it in real life because you probably get pummeled. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, man, hey, your life is pathetic, bro. Isn't he the same one that said something about my boy Oscar? He said amateur boxer. The effeminate boy has 0 videos of him fighting in the amateurs. So you do your research on me. Oh man, hey, bro, you're a loser, though. Hey, shout out to my guy George the Last Patriot, man. Hey, you're a loser, bro. This man knows everything about me, and he makes up stuff that he doesn't know. So you think my life is posted on YouTube? Okay, cool. You let me know when you want to spend some money and I can show you all the videos you want to see. He said, dude has never bought a USA boxing book. Okay. He tried boxing for 2 months and quit. There's a reason why he isn't boxing today. Yeah, you're right. Yep. I dropped out of college and I never boxed before and I don't have a USA boxing book. Oscar, you see my USA boxing book? Oh, okay. Yo, this dude's crazy, bro. Shout out to him. He said, gonna impregnate DBT's mother tonight too. Peace, chat. Oh, okay. Shout out to Koki, bro. Bro, that dude's a loser, dog. Hey, your life is terrible, man. Just make sure you don't hurt yourself, bro. Shout out to Koki, though, man. Oh, man. Just make sure you don't hurt yourself, bro. But, yeah, so I think that I'm not mad at that statement. Shout out to my guy, George the Last Patriot. He said that the more Kambosos loses at top level, the Teofimo fight looks like a fluke. I do agree with that, man. I think that George Kambosos is... That's the thing. I mean, he's already accomplished, right? But I do like your how you equated him to Buster Douglas, because Buster Douglas does have a big win, right, against Mike Tyson, and then he kind of seems like, no disrespect to Buster Douglas, you know, you could kind of say that he didn't do much after that. So you could kind of look at George Kambosos in a similar fashion, but I disagree because George Kambosos he did beat Teofimo, and I do think that Buster Douglas' win over Mike Tyson is bigger than Teofimo per se, but if I'm not mistaken, George Kambosos beat Teofimo after Lomachenko, right? That was an immediate fight afterwards, right? So it wasn't like he beat him way down the line. He beat Teofimo, and Teofimo was hot. In fact, George Kambosos is the one that cooled him down. You see what I'm saying? So I do think that, and George Kambosos, you could argue that he's what, 0-4 in his last fight, or whatever. I don't know. I have to look. You could argue that he lost to Matt Hughes. You could argue that he skated by Jake Wiley, right? And he lost to Lomachenko, and he just lost to Richard Hitchins. So you could say that he has a disappointing career, I guess, in some aspects, but I would say just as of recent, you know, I think that George Kambosos, while he's not the most I should say the most accomplished, because he is accomplished. I would say while he's not the most skilled or I don't even know, he's not the best champion, but he was a champion. You know, there's a lot of boxers that, I thought he lost to Max Hughes too. There's a lot of boxers that box that haven't become a champion, you know. So I'm not saying that he's good, but I wouldn't say that his win over Teofimo was a fluke. But I will say that Teofimo didn't approach it properly. You know what I'm saying? I would say that too. You know what I'm saying? I would say that he didn't approach the fight right, but I don't want to take away from George Kambosos, because we've seen that Teofimo, right? Teofimo also doesn't look the best. We always give Teofimo the excuse of, oh yeah, Teofimo fights down to his opponents. Oh yeah, Teofimo he's not his best. You know, Teofimo this, Teofimo that. But the truth is, Teofimo, you could argue that he doesn't look the best either when it's in his fights, you know, against Sandor Martin or against anybody, Steve Claggett, you know. So you could argue that maybe his Lomachenko victory was a fluke. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I mean, so I don't know, man. I think that maybe I'm too nice to George Kambosos, but I think people are too harsh on George Kambosos, you know. But he does have the Josh Taylor win. Teofimo does have the Josh Taylor win as well. That was a great win. So Josh Taylor and Lomachenko, but he has a lot of subpar performances in between those fights too for Teofimo. Shout out to my guy D1, man. Good morning, my brother. Shout out to you, bro. Yes, sir. Hey, my guy, just member for 1 month, man. Shout out to you, man. I appreciate you dropping that membership on us, man. Shout out to my guy D1 with the big membership. What the heck? Hold on, chat. I gotta run that back. Why is that? Hold on, chat. Why is that miss? Hold on, that alignment was off. There we go. I fixed it. Shout out to my guy D1, man. Check out my boy D1, man. D1 is a dope content creator, man. Y'all go check him out. Appreciate you renewing that membership, man, or becoming a member, man. Shout out to you, D1. I appreciate that, man. D1 in the building. Hashtag AWM, angry white man. Kambosos stinks. I'm sorry. I do think that it's a little bit past Kambosos' time. I wouldn't mind if he hangs it up. Like I said, I think his championship aspirations are gone. I don't think he stinks though. I think that for example, this is why I'm saying this, right? Because we watch boxing a lot, right? Who thought that Rolly Romero? Like, I'm not saying Kambosos is good now. Don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he's on the level of Shakur Stevenson. I'm not saying he's on the level of Gervonta Tank Davis. I'm not saying he's on the level of any other champion in 135-pound division or 140. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying, obviously, he's not on Richard Hitchens level. I'm not even saying he's on Gary Anton Russell's level or Alberto Puello's level. However, while we may not think that he's on Teofimo's level, he did beat Teofimo. You see what I'm saying? Whether it was an upset, whether it was a fluke or not, he did beat Teofimo, and Teofimo's a current WBO champion. Excuse me. And, you know, his losses aren't that bad, right? Lomachenko, he lost to Lomachenko, but Lomachenko's a Hall of Famer at 18-3. That's what a lot of people say, right? He lost to Devin Haney. Well, Devin Haney is a future Hall of Famer probably because, not probably, I mean, as long as he doesn't have a significant decline, and fall off a cliff, you know what I'm saying, as far as career goes, he'll be a Hall of Famer too. He's the youngest undisputed champion in the male era, in the 4-belt era on the male side. So he lost to him twice, and then he just lost to Richard Hitchens, a current undefeated active champion. Right? Boom. So those are his losses. He has 4 losses to 3 people, right? So those aren't that bad. It's not like he's out here losing to Jermaine Franklin or Otto Wallin or those type of caliber level fighters. You know what I'm saying? He's not losing. He's not losing to a Steve Claggett. Now, do I think he lost to Maxie Hughes? Yeah, but even Maxie Hughes is a pretty good fighter. Losing to Zepeda and of course Kambosos and some others, but he's a good fighter. So what I'm saying is that when Rolly Romero lost to Tank, no one thought he would be a champion again. Not only did Rolly Romero become a champion again, then he lost to Eastside Pitbull Cruz, but he's an interim champion right now by beating Ryan Garcia. So that's how boxing works. You know what I'm saying? Who would have thought that Rayo would have become a champion? He became a champion before he lost to Gary Anton Russell, but he beat Eastside Pitbull Cruz right for a title. So sometimes circumstances happen to which you'll become a champion. Look at Sebastian Fedora. Sebastian Fedora was coming off a knockout loss to Brian Mendoza. Circumstances led him into a title shot against Tim Tszyu. He capitalized and became a unified champion after that. Who would have thought Sebastian Fedora would have become a champion at 154, the best division in boxing, arguably, right? So, I mean, sometimes things happen. Weirder things have happened. Do I think George Kambosos could be a champion again? Hell no. But like I said, weirder things have happened. And I think sometimes people are too harsh on George Kambosos. Or even like, I've been seeing some people say like Stanionis is garbage. Bro, he lost to Boots. How many people at the 147-pound division would beat Boots? So is the Lithuanian former WBA champion losing to Boots that bad? I mean, I don't know. Kambosos did the most with the least. He had a good little run with Bay, Selby, and Capotil. Yeah, exactly. So, shout out to my guy Running Red in the building. But yeah, I'm not mad at I'm not mad at anybody saying that Kambosos stinks. But yeah, I just beg to differ. Is he the best? Nah. So I'm not gonna defend it like George Kambosos is the best. But I'm not gonna say he stinks, because it's like, I mean, look at Gustavo Lemos, right? Gustavo Lemos fought Richardson Hitchins in a good fight, but then he looked terrible against Keyshawn Davis, and he came in 6 pounds overweight. You know what I'm saying? But I would still watch Gustavo Lemos fight. Depends on who he's fighting. I would still watch, I don't know, even Jeremiah Nakatia. Hell, if Jeremiah Nakatia, who just got the veteran contender who just got from Namibia, just got smoked by Abdullah Mason. If George Kambosos was fighting Jeremiah Nakatia, I'd watch it. I know Jack Catterall is moving up to 147 against Harlem Eubank Jr., but if he was fighting George Kambosos, I'd watch that too. You feel me? So maybe that's just me though. Like I said, I will say that I'm a boxing head, so I would watch a lot of fights. But yeah, I don't think he's garbage. But yeah, if he retired, that'd be a good move for him. I think I wouldn't object to it, but I don't think because he lost to Richardson Hitchens that he has to retire because there's nothing else out there for him. Now, I think there's some stuff out there for him. Like I said, you don't even have to leave his country of Australia. He could fight Liam Parle. I would have Liam Parle winning, but I think that's a good fight. I'd watch it. And then, like I said, Matchroom has a pretty decent 140-pound stable. So, yeah. He said, all I can say about Kambosos is that despite his recent setbacks, he still fights with a lot of heart. That's what I'm saying. He fights with a lot of heart. I'm usually entertained by George Kambosos' fight. Now, did he look bad in his last fight? Well, not his last fight against Richard Hitchens, but his fight before that, second to last fight against Jake Wiley on late notice? Yeah, because he didn't finish him convincingly. So he looked bad. So I want to be very clear. I'm not advocating that George Kambosos is some beast. No. But I don't think that just because you may or may not be able to be a champion doesn't mean that you should stop boxing. That's why I say English is so England loves boxing, right? There's guys, what's that dude named? Like Dale Aerosmith. Look up Dale Aerosmith. Matter of fact, I'll do it for you. Dale Aerosmith, bro. I believe that's his name. He's an English fighter, right? Is it Aerosmith? It may not be Dale Aerosmith. Is it Dale Aerosmith? Yeah, look at this. Look at this right here. Dale Aerosmith, bro. I'm good. You don't tell me I don't watch boxing, bro. This man is 6'100". Now, this is the extreme, of course. This is the extreme. But he has 6 wins and 132 losses. And he's 30 years old. Box side. The man's name is the Choir Boy. Damn. He has 5 draws. He gets punched out of his draws. Look, this man has a fight this weekend on the 21st. He has a fight a couple weeks after that. Then he has a fight 2 weeks after that on the 19th. Then he has a fight a week after that on the 7th, on the 26th. And then he has a fight 3 weeks after that. This man has 5 fights lined up in advance. but he's also English. You know what I'm saying? England loves boxing. So what I'm saying is that George Kambosos, he could go to England and still fight. This dude got 132 losses. George Kambosos only got 4. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like I said, this is the extreme, of course. This is the guy that's just, you know, he's going to fight guys on their debut. He's going to fight young up-and-coming prospects and stuff like that. He's not fighting anybody serious. So I'm not reducing George Kambosos to that. But I mean, what I'm saying is my bigger point is that there's a lot of boxers that box that have not even the smallest inclination or the smallest hope of becoming a champion. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that you can't box if you can't be a champion. Like, I mean, look at team sports, right? Look at basketball and football. How many basketball players, how many football players never become champions, you know? Now, that doesn't mean that they should stop. There's so many basketball players, football players, soccer players, football, that never become champions, never become MVPs or all-stars. Should they stop? Nah, man. There's a lot of room for different caliber of fighters, you know? So yeah, I just think that I don't think George Kambosos is done. You know, Ryan Garcia being one. Talk to him, Oscar. Facts. I mean, Ryan Garcia is not a champion. You know, so like I said yesterday, man, it's so funny. People will say, "Oh, George Kambosos is riding his Teofimo win." Yeah, he might be riding his Teofimo win, but he beat a champion, and he's a former champion himself. What win is Ryan Garcia riding? Luke Campbell? Ryan Garcia has never been a champion, but people want to see Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia was accused of quitting against Gervonta Tank Davis. People still want to see him. Ryan Garcia got knocked on his behind by Rolly Romero, and he got the fight knocked out of him. You know, people still want to see him. His best performance is associated with him having PEDs, performance-enhancing drugs, against Devin Haney, and it counted as a no contest, rightfully so. People still want to see him. So why do you still want to see Ryan Garcia? He doesn't have any win to ride. So George Kambosos is riding the Teofimo win. Okay, what win is Ryan Garcia riding? Luke Campbell? Javier Fortuna? Oscar Duarte? I think George Kambosos' one win in Teofimo is better than Ryan Garcia's entire career. Would you not agree? Especially with the fact that George Kambosos was a champion. Would you not agree with that assessment? Am I out of pocket? I'm just saying. So when we talk about a guy riding one win, it's like, okay, there's guys that headline an event, and he has no signature win. Shout out to my guy Oster in the building, big member in the building. Don't forget overweight. Yeah, facts. And he was overweight. So it's like, yeah, man, it's just funny. Like sometimes we are selective with what we will highlight or tolerate from fighters, you know? And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that George Kambosos is the best fighter. I'm not saying that at all. But there's plenty of fighters that we see and we want to see more, and they have accomplished much less than George Kambosos. So I don't think he has to retire. You know, same with Josh Taylor. Did Josh Taylor look bad against Essa Eckerman his last time out? Yeah, but does he have to retire? I mean, it's up to him. You know, do I think he could become a champion again? No. But yeah, you said Ryan riding that Ryan pack. Yeah, facts. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy, bro. So it is what it is. It is what it is, man. You know, feel free to call in. Anybody wants to call in and chop it up with your boy, feel free. Feel free. But hey, people be looking like, imagine crazy. People be looking like different people, bro. How you got? Wait, what? How you have a person that look like a different person in every picture? But yeah, man, I just think it's silly, man. I like I said, I respect people's opinion about him, about George Kambosos retiring. I'm not mad at that at all. How could I be mad at that? You know, he hasn't performed. Let's look at his last 4 fights. You know, of course he has. Let's look at him. Let's look at his last fights, right? His last 4 fights. You know, of course Jake Wiley, Richardson Hitchins, Lomachenko, of course, and then Maxie Hughes. So you could argue that his last 4, Devin Haney is his 5th fight before that. 6th fight before that was Devin Haney again, Teofimo Lopez. So he fought Teofimo Lopez. You know, he fought Lee Selby, Mickey Bay, like my guy already said, George the Last Patriot, man. Yeah, so you got Teofimo Lopez, right? We got Devin Haney. We got Maxie Hughes. We got Lomachenko. We got Jake Wiley, Richardson Hitchins. I think he lost it. I ain't gonna lie. I thought he lost to Maxie Hughes. But he won. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to say that's an L, okay, bet. He lost to Lomachenko and he only beat Jake Wiley. So it looks kind of bad. Let's look at it. Hold on. You know, Richardson Hitchins lost. Jake Wiley, he won. Lomachenko lost. Maxie Hughes, you could argue he lost. Devin Haney lost. And then Teofimo. And then Mickey Bay, Lee Selby, and all that stuff. So it looks a little bad, right? But then I want to look at this guy, right? And this is my guy. You know, I rock with Deontay Wilder. But Deontay Wilder in his last 5 fights, I think, but I will say this. I do think Deontay Wilder should retire. And I've been on record saying that a lot of times. But look, his last 5 fights, loss, win against Robert Helenius, loss, right? So he's 1-4. You know, he's 1-4 in his last 5 fights. He's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's 2-3 in his last 5 fights. Let's look at another guy. Let's look at Jose Pedraza. I think Jose Pedraza is I think he's 0-4-1 in his last 5 fights. He's still fighting. 0-4-1. Yeah, I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, his last 5 fights, he hasn't won any. He's 0-4-1. 4 losses and 1 draw. Bro, I'm just too good. I'm too cold, chat. Hey, George, I'm too cold at this. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, and that's without looking at BoxRec. I use BoxRec to confirm what I said. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so he's 0-4-1. He's still fighting. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that you want to aspire to have these type of losses that, you know, you want to be good, but you don't have to, there's room for fighters to still continue fighting if they just love the sport, you know? I mean, we got Manny Pacquiao, 46 years old, coming back to get a title shot against Mario Barrios. We just saw Nonito Donaire get a victory this past weekend. We ain't seen him fight in how long, you know? So, I mean, I don't know. It's different. He said, F Turkey too. White guys do try to set my guy up. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I like Turkey, but Turkey's been looking a little bit shaky lately. Shout out to my guy, George Last Picture. He said, most people would say that he should get his bum ass up out of here. Yeah, that's a fact. But then again, Harold Sconiers did drop Wilder with a 17-20-2 record. Yeah, you know, so I mean, look at Ramon. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not arguing. I'm not here trying to tell you that George Kambosos needs to be in boxing. I'm just saying I think it's up to him, and if he wants to stay, I think it's cool. I don't have an issue with it, me personally, you know what I'm saying? But shout out to those that do. Don't forget to smack that like button if you haven't done so already. Smack the like button, man. It's free. Smack the like button. You feel me? So yeah, that's my opinion on it, you know. But you know, I like boxing a lot, so. He said, bro, smack boxing. I don't know if you're the same person that came in earlier, but you're the second person that asked me that today. I told you, OBS. I don't know if you asked me this already, bro, if you're the same person, but I know a lot of people like to switch names. People have like 30 different usernames. It's crazy. But not saying if you don't, then my bad. But you know, you're the second person that asked me that today. I told you, OBS, bro. OBS is what I use. He said, I definitely want to see Bomb Squad retire. I hate seeing him go the same route of my favorite fight. Yeah, facts. Exactly, Reb. I definitely want to see, but I don't. So my point of bringing him up, Reb, because I'm with you 1,000%. I know. I think we had this discussion before. And I talked about it, right? I think Deontay Wilder should retire. Just like I think Nonito Donaire should retire. Manny Pacquiao, Roy Jones, James Toney. I don't think Vladimir Klitschko should come back, you know, after losing to Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, the older version of Klitschko. So I don't like to see the great fighters fight too long and become a shell of themselves and lose to people that they ain't got no business losing to just because they're a little bit long in the tooth and stay in the ring too long. I don't think George Kambosos is at that point yet. You know, that's my point of bringing him up. I'm not saying that he's as good as those guys or his future is going to have as many losses as those guys. My point is saying that, you know, these guys are still fighting themselves, so I think George Kambosos could still continue fighting too. But you know, I wish Jose Pedraza would retire because he's definitely not the same Jose Pedraza that fought Tank or even Lomachenko. You see what I'm saying? So, but I don't think George Kambosos is as far off and as bad as Deontay Wilder, Jose Pedraza, and some other guys that stay too long, you know. But I do think his champion aspirations are probably over. But I don't think that. I still can George Kambosos upset a guy like, I don't know, Sam Noakes. If Sam Noakes and George Kambosos fought, could he upset Sam Noakes? Maybe. You feel me? That's what I'm saying. You know, could he upset Dalton Smith? Maybe. You feel me? Could he upset, I don't know, give me another fighter that is not really proven yet. Hell yeah, you can. Shout out to my guy Clone the Last. I said Clone the Last Patriot. Shout out to George the Last Patriot. Shout out to Clone Me, my guy. How did I just mix your name up? I just combined Clone and George. I made y'all fuse like gosh dang go tanks. Shout out to my guy Clone, man. Appreciate you, bro. Big member in the building. Big member in the building running Reb as well. My bad. I didn't give you your salutations, brethren. My guy Clone dropping that bread, that cheese, that butter. Hey, you disrespectful, bro. He said, I was busy on Saturday burning that Lil Wayne CD. How many good fights did I miss? Bro, I still haven't heard the Wayne CD, but I've been hearing this trash, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I've been hearing a lot of people say that Wayne album is garbage.
Know your fucking place, trash.
And you know Wayne's my favorite artist, bro. Wayne, T.I., and some others. That hurts my heart, bro. I haven't heard it because I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little bit scared to hear it, bro. But I do like that song Flex Up, though. I heard Flex Up, that song good. And what's another one? Written History or something like that? That song's good. You know, so I heard two songs that I like, especially Flex Up. Flex Up go crazy. I like that song. But yeah, I heard I heard that it's trash. Shout out to my guy Clone, man. Appreciate you dropping the graffiti on the chat walls, man. I appreciate it, bro. He said, I agree. George can still make money fighting domestically. Yeah, exactly. Like he could fight Liam Paro. You wouldn't watch that? I'd watch that. You know, I don't think he beats Liam Paro, but yeah. But don't pick up the phone when those champions call. Yeah, I'm just saying, yeah, facts. You know, don't fight Gary Anton Russell. I would even say don't even fight Teofimo Lopez Jr. again. But you know, knowing Teofimo jumping in the ring against Richardson Hitchins, I agree. I think my boy Ty said it. He said, don't be surprised if Teofimo calls out George Kambosos trying to avenge that loss. You know, because now he lost to Lomachenko and got stopped, and now he got stopped by Richardson Hitchins. You know, Teofimo don't really want to fight anybody. So don't be surprised, you know. And hell, I got Teofimo beating George Kambosos, but don't be surprised George Kambosos pull up upset again with that scar tissue and all that, like my guy Ty pointed out. Yo, shout out to my guy Clone dropping that bread, that cheese, that butter. He said, also, what app you use for your background? Bro, I can't stand this dude, Clone, bro. Clone get on my nerves, bro. Yeah, we gonna get you up out of here, bro. We gonna get you up out of here, bro. Yeah, go ahead. Someone go ahead and kick Clone. Oh, Clone's a mod. Let me unmod him so I can kick him out the channel real quick. Shout out to my guy Clone, boy, a troll, bro. Shout out to my guy Clone, man. I appreciate you, bro. What's good, boxing family? Hope y'all feeling blessed today. Yeah, man. Hope you're blessed as well, man. We got some good fights this weekend too, man. I didn't even talk about that, man. So this weekend is what? Brian Norman versus Jin Sasaki, right? He said, Doc, I told you some of these cats are good, but not great. Just good as could be. But there's nothing wrong with being good. Everybody, bro, don't forget to smack that like button, y'all. You don't have to be great to be able to do something. How many of us get paid at a job that we're not great at, and we don't have any aspirations to be great? You see what I'm saying? So does that mean that we shouldn't be allowed to do the job anymore? I mean, I don't know, man. You know, that's what it is. We got to understand that, I know I might be dumbing it down a bit, but that's what it is, bro. It's just that their job requires them to be on TV and potentially get famous, you know. But George Kambosos is a good fighter. You know, I think he's a good fighter. You can't be a champion unless you're good. I don't mean he's the best, but can he, or great, like you said, Oster? I don't think he's great, but does that mean that you can't do something because you're not great at it? There's a lot of fighters that are less accomplished than George Kambosos, and people want to see them, you know, and they're headlining events, you know. George Kambosos doesn't have any cheating allegations. He's been a champion. You know, I'm talking about no PED usage. So, you know, he said, what app you Hey, yeah, I'm getting off, bro. I'm getting off, man. Yeah, I'm out, bro. I'm getting off, bro. I'm getting shout out to my guy Oscar dropping that bread, that cheese, that butter. Oh man, yeah, I'm getting off. Yeah, y'all trolling, man. I'm getting off, man. Shout out to y'all, man. Y'all some good trolls. You know what I'm talking about? You got other trolls that are broken, angry, and mad at life. That's probably gonna hurt themselves, you know, in the near future. They want to try to spoil the show. You can't do it, bro, because the show is a beast. You feel me? This is what we do, baby. You know, we get the hustle off the muscle, man. And God, when God's for you, can't nothing keep you down, man. So you gotta. When you see people in the news and a lot of times they harm themselves. Not everybody, but sometimes when they harm themselves, you gotta understand what kind of person that they are, what kind of life they're living. They're a bunch of losers that are unhappy and insecure and mad at the world because of how they choose to act. Your life sucks, bro. I ain't gonna lie. But shout out to my guy Oscar, man. My guy Oscar, man. He said, "What app you run your stream on?" The Kambosos, the Kambosos has losses. He hasn't lost to a guy. Though Kambosos, sorry, I read wrong. I can't read. He said, though Kambosos has losses, he hasn't lost to a guy that's not championship material. That's my point. I did have Hughes winning, though. Me too. I had Hughes winning too, G. But, you know, Hughes. Hey, let's bring up Maxie Hughes' resume. Maxie Hughes is not bad either, right? It's not like Maxie Hughes just loses to scrubs, right? I mean, Maxie Hughes lost to Kambosos. I mean, he does have quite a few losses, but I mean, recently he lost to Kambosos and he lost to Zepeda, you know. And I remember back in the day he lost to who else? He lost to somebody else that I recognize. Let me pull up his record. He had some early losses. Who was it? That's Liam Walsh. I remember he lost to Liam Walsh, but he's not horrible. Max Hughes not horrible, so I mean, but I definitely thought he lost. So I definitely George Kambosos got away with one. On a run to Lowe's for material. Hey, man, I feel that. Get that work in, man. Hey, shout out to my guy Oscar, man. Keep your head up too, man. Yes, sir. Don't forget to smack that like button for your boy. I appreciate y'all for real. But yeah, man, I just think that let's talk about, before I get off, let's talk about some of these fights that are happening this weekend. I know Brian Norman versus Jin Sasaki is happening this weekend. Is there any other fight this weekend? Like any other main event? Let me see. You think Kambosos' loss will hurt his stock since he was stopped by Hitchins? That's the thing. He's Australian, man. Australia, they love boxing. So do I think it hurts his stock? No. I think it's gonna take him a little while to get another title opportunity. Well, it depends. Like I said, I think Teofimo could try to convince the WBO and Top Rank to get Kambosos in the ring, you know, to avenge that loss. So I think it hurt. I mean, all Kambosos' losses hurt his stock. I don't think anybody really thinks he's that good, you know. So, but I don't think that anybody's like, oh yeah, George Kambosos is worse than I thought. Man, maybe some people do think he's worse than they thought with that loss of Richardson Hitchins. But you know, I expected Richardson Hitchins to stop him. Remember, I called the stoppage. So and sometimes I gotta recognize that I do watch boxing a lot more than others. So yeah, I think it did hurt his stock. I think it hurt it. I think it hurt it, but I don't think it hurt it to the point where he won't get any matches. You know, in my personal opinion. I think there's a couple fights he can still get. But yeah, Brian Norman versus Jin Sasaki's this weekend. Oh, that's it. On Friday. Wait, Brian Norman and Jin Sasaki's on a Thursday? Oh, it's on Juneteenth. Oh, okay. Yo, Southwest Dice in the building. Salutations, bro. I'm glad I looked at this. I thought Brian Norman and Jin Sasaki was on Saturday. I knew it was in Japan. And I knew it was gonna be early, but I thought it was on Saturday, bro. Okay, let's go. So it's on Thursday. Oh, we gonna be up early, chat. So Saturday, Vito Milnicki's fighting. Galal Yafai's fighting on Saturday. So we have two fights on Saturday. Callum Walsh is fighting on Saturday as well. And then Liam Parles fighting on a Wednesday on June 25th. Oh, shit. So shout out to Brian Norman fighting on Juneteenth. You know what I'm talking about? And Deontay Wilder, oh, Lord, is fighting next week. So this weekend is not really too big. This weekend is David Stevens versus Peter Kamakov. David Stevens just fought. Who did David Stevens just fight? Didn't David Stevens just fight Beck the Bully? Who did he just fight? Yeah, I think his last fight was against Bektamir Melakuziev, if I'm not mistaken. Melakuzia just beat Darius Fogum, but I'm talking about before that. Yeah, bro, I'll be watching too. But yeah, so Beck the Bully fought Darius Fogum in his last fight, like I said. But then before that, he fought David Stevens. I think that was David Stevens' last fight. Yeah, his last fight. That was his last fight. So it'll be nice to see David Stevens bounce back. So let's check that out this weekend. Good Lord willing. That's on a Friday. That's interesting. Brian Norman lose on Juneteenth. You feel me? I ain't gonna lie, bro. He better not lose on Juneteenth. If he lose on Juneteenth, bro, it might be, yeah, I ain't gonna lie. He might need to stay over there. He might need to convert them Japanese. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, you can be whatever you want these days, right? So he might as well go ahead and claim that he's Japanese, man. Make that transition to be a Japanese man instead of an American man for sure. That's a fact. Tio is his best option as of now. He really had no another route. He has reduced the gatekeeper status. Yeah, I mean, that's not bad. I mean, I think he was already a gatekeeper, you know. But yeah, I like I said, I disagree with that. I think Tio is his best option as of now, but I think he has other routes, so I disagree with that part. Like I said, I think he could fight Liam Paul, who's his countryman. If Liam Paul beats his Navarro, right? What's wrong with Liam Paul versus George Kambosos? You could sell that fight as like who runs Australia for the little divisions. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a good fight. Like I said, I think that who just lost to Gary Anton Russell? Rayo, right? I think Rayo and Kambosos is a good fight at 140. I'd watch it. Esau Pitbull Cruz versus Kambosos, I'd watch it. I know Pitbull Cruz is fighting Angel Fierro, but you see what I'm saying? So there's a couple options for George Kambosos. Now, to your point, Oster, are there any options that are winnable for him? That's a different story. But there's some interesting fights for him. Yeah, I disagree with that. But I see what you're saying. Brian is skillful, but he gets touched a lot. Yeah, he could lose, bro. Sasaki is an offensive guy, so he's dangerous, man. He got some pop with his punches. That's not easy money. Don't get it twisted. Him going to fight Sasaki in Japan is not easy money. It's not a given. Now, can Brian Norman make it look like easy money? Yeah, because Sasaki gets touched a lot too. Sasaki gets touched a lot. He blocks with his face. I think he's the Japanese version of Jaime Munguia. And coincidentally, I like both of them. I like Jaime Munguia, the Mexican contender who has cheating allegations. You know what I'm saying? He got to tighten up and prove his innocence.
We do not let people who are on the juice discuss real athletes. That's all.
But Jaime Munguia is a high-powered offensive guy. He throws punches in bunches. And so does Sasaki. But he also blocks with his face. He doesn't care about defense. He's like, what's the dude that used to coach the Phoenix Suns? He's like Mike D'Antoni. He don't care about defense. He only care about offense, bro. So yeah, I think Sasaki is definitely dangerous, but I got Brian Norman. He said, any prediction on the fight? Yeah, I got Brian Norman. I got Brian Norman by, I'm going to go 7 rounds. I want to say 6 rounds. For some reason, I don't like betting on 6 rounds, though. So I always go either 5 or 7. For some reason, I just don't like betting 6 rounds. But for some reason, I'm going to make an exception this time. I'm going with Brian Norman in 6 rounds. 6 round stoppage, Brian Norman. That's just what I feel right now. It could change by Thursday. You feel me? And look, chat, it's Thursday. But remember, that means it's Wednesday night. Right? So, it's technically Thursday morning in the wee hours of the morning. So please believe, be there or be square, because we're going to be turned up. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday night, or Thursday morning. Want a friendly bet? I bet. What we betting? What's the bet, bro? Don't forget to subscribe to I'll take the Japanese. I'll take the Japanese Munguia for 40. Why'd you make it sound like a Jeopardy bet? The man sound like it was on Jeopardy, bro. I'll take historical events for 500, Alex. Rest in peace, Alex Trebek. Rest in peace, Alex Trebek. But yeah, I'll take that bet. I'll take that. I'll take that, dude. You sure? If you're sure, Clone, no pressure now. I know you made the bet, so I'm sure that you're sure, because I know you're good for it. I'm talking about. But I'm gonna give you an out. I'm gonna give you an out. But I'll take that bet though. If you're serious, I'll take it. He said that's a good pick. You think so, Southwest Dice? You got just Sasaki beating you got him upsetting the WBO champion Brian Norman. And it's not bad because Boca Chica got to him now. You know, Boca Chica, who we just saw fight Tiger Johnson, he definitely got to Brian Norman. So like I said, it's not an easy fight, man. And Jin Sasaki's confident, you know. And Jin Sasaki only has one loss, and that loss came to Andy Hiroka. And that was at 140, a weight division below. You know, Andy Hiroka's a good fighter, undefeated contender at 140. The Japanese Ghanaian contender at 140. Yeah, I'll take that bet though. Really, I at 147, I think Boots is the best, but I can't think of a non-champion at 147 that I'll have beating Brian Norman. I think Brian Norman and Barrios is a good fight. I think a lot of people would pick Brian Norman, but I think Barrios, that's a good fight, man. I might lean slightly towards Brian Norman as well. I think Stanionis and Brian Norman would have been a good fight, or would be a good fight. I think Karen and Brian Norman would be a good fight. I think Boots and Brian Norman's a good fight. So I don't see Brian Norman being a clear winner over any of the champions, whether I would pick him or not, but I don't really see any non-champion beating him. Give me 5 minutes and I'll hop on the BTF members channel. All right, bet. I'm gonna slide though, man. I'm gonna slide. I'm gonna get some food. That would be a disaster after turning down the Boots fight. Yes, they're going to gain leverage, but this could be a banana peel. Facts. He could go out there and slip up. He could slip up, Reb. You're right. Absolutely. Bro, that's what we love boxing, man. Ain't nothing easy in boxing. I don't care how easy it may look. I don't care how easy it may end up. There's nothing easy in boxing, man. You never know. Everybody has a puncher's chance, and these guys, you know, we've seen upsets before. That's why we like it. There's literally an upset category, right? There's a category for upset of the year for a reason, you know. So recently we've seen Sebastian Fedora by hook or by crook, you know, large part due to that gash that Tim Tszyu suffered, you know, but he did become a champion after getting knocked out by Brian Mendoza the fight before. We just saw Armando Resendez just upset Caleb Plant. We just saw who else just got Brunello upset Jaime Munguia in his backyard of Tijuana, Mexico. You know what I'm saying? We saw Liam Paro upset Subra Matias in his backyard of Puerto Rico. We seen Brian Norman upset Giovanni Santillan in his backyard of San Diego. You know, so upsets definitely happen. You know, but I don't think it's gonna happen here. I want my money all in. I want my money all in ones. I'm asleep. I am sleep, bro. I'm sleep, man. He said I want my money all in ones. Oh, sleep. But yeah, so yeah, I definitely think not to mention all the young prospects. Like, remember Elijah Garcia got upset by Tyrone Davis? What was that other prospect that got upset? I don't remember. I can't remember his what's his name? Alan Garcia or something like that. Remember he has a female trainer and they zoomed in on her face when he got knocked out. Look at Lucas Body. Lucas Body upset Ashton H2O Silv. You know, he was essentially losing every second of that fight. Bow. Caught a mean one. Lucas Body caught a body on H2O Silv. So yeah, we see upsets for sure. And I think Sasaki's capable. I just don't think he will. But he's definitely capable. Brian Norman 6-round KO. You said earlier. I was agreeing. Oh, appreciate it, Southwest. Oh, I thought you were saying that Clone made a good pick for Jin Sasaki to beat Brian Norman. Okay, I appreciate it, bro. I'm about to say that's what's up. Southwest Dice going with Jin Sasaki too. Oh Lord, I'm about to get a little nervous, Dice. I was about to say, oh boy, maybe I got to reconsider some things. It will be a major upset if Canelo beats. Okay. Yeah, it's time for me to get off. I ain't gonna lie. He said it'll be a major upset if Canelo beats. Come on, man. He said it'll be a major upset if Cinnamon beats Bud. What are we doing? What are we doing? It'll be a major upset, really, Oster?
Bullshit!
Really? Foreman and Mike Moore major upset. Okay. Yeah, you wildin'. People talk about cherry picks gone wrong. That Santillan versus Norman was wild. I'm talking about, and the way he did it in such devastating fashion. I mean, look at Tim Tszyu and Murtazaliev. Was that an upset? It should not have been an upset, but the fashion in which it happened, that was an upset, bro. Murtazaliev ran through him like shit through draws. That was crazy. 3 rounds? Tim Tszyu? Oh man, he smoked him. I thought it was going to be a close fight. Remember, I picked Tim Tszyu by unanimous decision win over Bakram. Bakram said, Mr. Jackson, I'm going to make this look like easy work. Hey, but shout out to Oster, though. I always give Oster his credit because he got Bud, man. And quite a few people have Bud. Quite a few people have Canelo, but quite a few people have Bud, and I'm not mad at it. Like I said, I think Bud can win. Don't get it twisted. I'm just going with Cinnamon. You know what I'm saying? My guy Cinnamon. I got Cinnamon winning, but Bud could definitely win. Just like Lamont Roach could beat Gervonta. You know, Lamont Roach could definitely beat Gervonta. I'm just going with my boy Tank. You feel me? But yeah, I'm not overlooking them, and I'm hoping that Canelo's not overlooking Bud. I'm hoping that Tank's not overlooking Roach, and we gonna get it popping. And you know, my favorite fighters got to redeem themselves because Canelo looked bad against William Skull. Yes, William Skull ran and was on his bicycle, yeah, but I expect a lot out of Canelo, you know. So he looked bad, and then yeah, Tank got the grease in his eye, but Lamont Roach was doing his thing and not moving. So you know what I'm saying. So I expect more out of Tank. So you know, I need my favorite fighters to step up. You know, shout out to my boy Junto though. Junto did. Junto was scaring me too because he came out hot. He came out hot, you know, against Ryosuke Nishida. He was scaring me, but he definitely came out and did his thing, man. He said, we are not trying to please people, but God, who tests our hearts. Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 1. Shout out to my mama Doc. He said, she said, happy Monday. Wishing you a Monday that is as bright as God's love. Amen. Shout out to Mama Doc. Shout out to Mama Doc. Let me hit her back with a message. Zele Zhang has said that he still wants to fight. So Zele Zhang is not retiring. He wants to fight Anthony Joshua. He's been, in his defense, Big Bang Zhang has been chasing AJ for a while. And, you know, they have history from the Olympics. You know, so shout out to Zhang, but I got AJ winning. That'll be a big money fight for him too. He said, and you got the history as well, you know, the storyline. He said, it's over for those guys. Thank y'all, but move to the side and have a Snickers. Hey, you want to know why I never heard about? He said, I want to know why I never heard about how Tim couldn't block the left. You feel me, Reb, bro? And that's the crazy part. I don't know if you remember, Reb. Bakram Murtazali was using his left because that's all he had. Because his right hand was compromised because he broke his finger. You know, and you know, we don't really care about the excuses. He didn't use it as an excuse, but can you imagine if he had his right hand fully healed as well, Reb? Oh man, Tim probably wouldn't have made it out the first round. That's crazy. He got him out of there in 3 rounds with just his left. Oh boy, go back and watch the fight. You can see him too. He's not even joking because you can see him like shaking his right hand too after he drops him a couple times. He's shaking his right hand because he hurt. Like, I went back and watched the fight a couple times. You know, I mean, it's a quick watch. It's like 10 minutes. You know, he ran through him. But yeah, he wasn't joking. You can tell his right hand's messed up. He said, hope all is well with your family too. Oh yeah, everything good. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Nah, my mom was just messaging me. I appreciate it, bro. Everything good with my family. Yes, sir. Thank you, bro. Same for you too, Clone. Hope everybody family doing well, man. You know, and happy Father's Day too, Clone. I know you said you ain't got no kids, but you know you're a nasty freak. You probably got some running around unaccounted for in all these different countries you be going to. Freaky ass. I was just playing. Oh, so what a cool 40 on that Canelo Bud fight. I got Canelo. I see Crawford outboxing Canelo. The judges, he's with the steroids. Hey, don't do my boy Cinnamon like that. I got my boy Cinnamon coming through with that bang, boom, bang.
Eso, sí. Tú vas a mamar el bicho. Tú vas a mamar
Southwest Dice says, I see Crawford outboxing Canelo. Yep. The judges will cheat and call it for Canelo or a tie. My early prediction. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at anybody thinking that Canelo will get the benefit of the doubt for a decision. I'm not mad at anybody, you know. I got Canelo stopping Bud in the late rounds because, like I said, Bud likes to fight, man. And I can't imagine. I'm not saying he's not capable of outboxing Canelo. I'm saying that's not his typical style. Like when I say outboxing, I'm talking about like an evasive style of boxing. You know, utilizing agility and boxing like a Bivol or something. You know, when Bud gets hit, you know, the dog comes out. And can he possibly be a bigger dog than Canelo? Yeah, but I think it's less likely that would happen, in my personal opinion, man. So, but yeah, man, I definitely think Bud could win because he's a phenomenal fighter, just like Canelo's a phenomenal fighter. That's why we like it. But yeah, he said, "Wanna cool 40." Hey, I'm about to slide. Oscar be trying to come in at the end of the show, try to keep me on for 30 more minutes. No, sir. I'm not going. No, sir. We about to wind down. I want my money all on corners too. I'm asleep. Southwest, we knocking that cloud out. No stopping that cloud. Watch. Crawford will do the rest, but Canelo ass. But now I'm gonna pull up for my guy. How can I tell my guy Oscar though? I'm gonna pull up Oscar, let him get his thoughts off, and then I'm about to slide after this. He said, I need mines in Bitcoin. That's crazy. I definitely, I know Oster doesn't bet, but I definitely believe Oster. If Oster was to bet, I know he'd bet on Terrence Crawford. My boy Oster is he stand 10 tones down, man. That's one thing I respect about Oster, you know. It's like myself, you know, whether I'm right or wrong, you know, I'm gonna stand with the person I believe in. Like I said, I think Terrence Crawford is a beast, so I'm not saying he doesn't have a chance now, because I know if Terrence Crawford wins, people will be like, oh, I told you, Doc. You said he ain't had no chance. No, I definitely think he has a chance. I just think I'm just going with Cinnamon. I think it's like 60-40. I'd say 60-40 for Cinnamon. Maybe 65-35. Maybe 65-35. My brother, what's good, bro?
Yo.
Yes, sir. What's poppin', man? Appreciate you pulling up, man. Let me find out you in the Lowe's parking lot.
No, I'm home. Yeah, I had to go get some stuff for the stairs so I can just cover them up.
Oh, okay.
So I can get them and all that stuff. You know,
okay.
Growing up live. But, man, Eddie fucking tweaking, bro.
Tweaking, bro? What's wrong with him, man? All in his feelings, man.
And he's like, like pretty much they had the interview had to ask him like, all right, can you say all that again without crying?
You feel me? Exactly. Hide your tears, man. What's up with that, bro? Like, I don't know,
bro. Like he said it himself. He's like, oh, there's no loyalty in boxing, but how can he do this?
Thank you. Thank you.
What does Sky Nicholson do to you, bro? Because I'm telling you, whatever she did, I need some of that.
Literally said it, you know.
And another thing I don't like about Eddie is just like, aside from the bitching, aside from that, it's like, bro, how are you gonna put people's life out there like that? Oh, I found them like this and like this and like this.
Right. Exactly.
What about Paul, bitch? You haven't put Paul in a fight? What the hell are you talking about?
Exactly. The man said his door was falling off.
That's crazy, yeah.
That's crazy, bro.
Hey, you just not tell my host about to fall on my door. What the hell's wrong with you?
Right.
But nah, man, I think it's a good win. That's a great win. I don't agree with Oster, but then I also agree with Oster with him being a gatekeeper. Like, I don't think he can make a fight happen, but everybody wants to make a fight happen with him because he's still a great win. And what holds him there, sadly, is Teo.
I agree.
That Teo win because he did, like, now every time somebody beats Kambosos, we gotta say, well, he did beat Teo. So
right.
This guy beat Teo.
Yep.
Like, for example, Hitchins. I think Hitchins is capable of beating Teo.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
But they went up there and they were all lovey-dovey, man.
Yeah, I didn't like that either. Yeah, I mean, I know they said they're friends, so I give it a pass, but yeah, it was kind of... That definitely didn't make me feel like they're going to fight. That didn't convince me that they'll fight.
But nah, yeah, I think Kambosos is still a great win for anybody. And like you said, it's not like he lost to any bums.
Right.
He lost to all great guys.
Right.
Loma, but you know, we make an exception for Loma. Oh, but that's a good case. Loma has 3 losses.
Come on now.
Two
Come on now.
guys that he should have lost to.
Come on now. Talk to him.
Famer, he's still a great. You know?
Talk to him.
I don't want to get in that mess. You know how I am with that mess already. But
Talk
yeah,
to
I think Kambosos is a good win. Now Benavidez trying to fight Jai Apataya. That he's tweaking, bro. I mean, he's got to be tweaking. He's got to.
You don't like that
I
fight?
know he just. I like it, but then how? It's just to me. I just see it as another way for him to say, "Oh, see, people are still ducking me."
Yeah.
You know what I compare it to? I compare it to Teo. Oh, nobody wants to fight me. No, bitch. You just making one. You just want to make fights that are incapable of making happen.
I agree. I agree with that part. I agree with that part for sure. So I'm with you on that one. Nah, man, I'm with you on that though. I think that how can I say? I mean, you already said it perfectly. You know, I don't think that he really wants to fight. But man, if that fight does happen, I got Richardson Hitchins, and then with David Benavidez and Jai Apataya is like, bro, you can't tell me you want to fight Jai Apataya, Bivol, and Canelo. Like, what are we doing?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? See how foolish that sounds? Like Canelo
sounds crazy,
would give
bro.
you a pass.
Right.
But Canelo would give you a pass because it's the first one that happened.
Right.
It's the more likely because he is the guy. He can make that fight happen. So
Right.
I agree. You say Canelo does Benavidez, I agree with you because Canelo couldn't make that happen.
Right.
But the thing is, his team didn't order or submitted a claim for them to be a mandatory. They didn't.
Right.
And how do we know? Because as soon as Bivol won undisputed,
Yep.
they submitted that claim.
Yep.
Or WBC submitted it.
Yep.
And then it's like, okay, now you want Bivol and better be able to stop their trilogy.
Yeah.
The one everybody seen coming. The one
Exactly.
everybody knew was gonna happen.
Exactly.
For you.
Exactly. So it's like, yeah,
And
that's
then
crazy.
now he's like, I want Jai Apataya. So if Jai Apataya don't fight me, he's ducking. What? Are you high, sir? Are you freaking high? Jai Apataya's already ducking Sordo.
Exactly. Everybody ducking. Everybody ducking. Everybody ducking. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
There's one thing that you talk about. I'm trying to make it fast, but
No, take your time, man. You know, I love chopping it up with you. That's why I don't like when you come in. That's why not that I don't like it. That's why I'm nervous or scared to talk to you, because then I get caught up and I be all there for an hour because I enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that I don't want to. I'm saying the opposite. I'm saying I like it. It keeps me off for an extra hour, and that's what I don't want. Well, yeah, go ahead.
The other thing is Jin Sasaki, Brian Norman, man. I think that's a great fight.
Hey.
It's very disturbing for Jin Sasaki because he was on a 9-win streak, and there's people that just moved up to the division and they're already mandatory. They haven't even fought, but they're mandatory.
Right.
But that's, to me, it's not a 50-50. To me, it's like a 60-40. And the reason I got Sasaki so much is because, like you said, he blocked with his face. So he's used to getting punched. You've seen what happens when you catch Brian Norman good one time. He drops. And though he has the skill to recover and to fight back, it's like, and to win the fight and to put the guy out, it's like, damn, but like, do you want to play that gamble all the time? There's going to be one time where that's not going to work. And I don't know if this is it.
Right. Right. Now I feel I feel that.
Because if we go, like, let's say, who's got more power? I'll say Brian Norman. What do you think?
Yeah, I would say Brian Norman. I would say him on one punch power. Yeah. I would say that. See, I don't know. I don't know who has a better chin. Yeah, because I mean we see what's his name, Derek Cuevas get to Brian Norman, kind of maybe do the stanky leg a little bit. And then we also see Boca Chica. So, and Jin Sasaki, I might say Jin Sasaki got the better chin. I don't know. You know, yeah, I'm not sure.
Because both guys come in with a lot of questions unanswered.
Yeah.
I hope Brian Norman wins. He can't lose from Juneteenth, bro. He just can't.
He can't lose on Juneteenth, man. Talk to her. Jab Queen boxing in the building. Salutations, Queen. Let's go. One time for the ladies.
But
Yeah,
like
he can't. No,
like
I want to comment on that, man. Bro. You can't lose on Juneteenth, bro. You can't do it, bro. You just can't do it. I mean, you can, but not in Japan, and not like this, and not your belt. Like you can't do that, bro. Like, nah, bro. You know.
think about it like that. All the combinations, like you're gonna lose on Juneteenth.
Right.
You're gonna lose your belt.
Right.
In Japan, not even on your home soil, bro.
Right.
Stop.
Exactly. And considering the fact that you know, whether it's right or not, you know, the narrative is that you're the reason why the Boots fight could have happened. So, but you know, which we know that's not really true because, you know, the money, Stan just got paid more money than what Brian Norman was asking for. So if you look at it like that, you know, from the logistics of it, that's not really true, but still the optics and what people are going to say is that, you know, you are the reason what held it up. So yeah, it was going a little crazy. And then like, you know, yeah, it's like, yeah, it's just, yeah, you just don't want to lose on the day that's you're supposed to be celebrating. You know, George Kambosos lost on his birthday, bro. That's crazy. You know, but hey, he got paid on his birthday too. You all look at it like that. Shout out to George Kambosos. So
yeah, we know Norman's gonna get paid.
yeah, so you can look at it like that, I guess.
Question for you, and I'll finish with this.
Yes, sir.
Where would you like to see Hitchens next if he don't follow the deal with Metro?
Ooh, like promotional company, like what's ooh, man, that's so hard because I mean, I don't know if I said this before, but Oscar already reached out to him on Twitter. He said, "Come side with Golden Boy." I just don't think that's a good landing spot for him. But I don't know where. Like, could I see him on PBC? Not really. Could I see him on? I think he should go back to Matchroom. So, but if not Matchroom, I don't know. Not Queensberry. Not Golden Boy. I don't really see PBC. I mean, PBC makes sense, right? Because two of the other title holders are there. So Alberto Puello's PBC and so is Gary Anton Russell. So that makes sense. I just can't, for some reason, I just can't see Hitchens on PBC. And then Top Rank, I definitely don't see that. I don't know, man. I think you should go back to Matchroom, bro. Especially with Turkey saying that too. You know, Turkey's like, hey, man, I'm only gonna work with you in Matchroom. Hey, if he's being for real, you know, then hey, you might have to go back, bro. Get that back.
That's so whack.
Yeah, I think that's whack too. I think that's whack, but
like at one point, Turk got to shut up and like. Just,
I agree.
Just stop, bro.
I agree.
Oh yeah. Now it's also a bitch move from Eddie being like, "Oh,
yep. Yeah, fact. Exactly. I agree.
But like, I think Golden Boy will do a service. Honestly,
you think that'd be good?
I think so because he's not coming in like Conwell. He's not coming in like a low profile guy.
True.
Coming in like
title holder.
Title belt.
Yep.
And even if he tries to match him up with Ryan, I mean, what does Ryan have? I mean, I'm sorry,
right.
Ryan's never been a champion. As soon as that fight is announced for a belt, you know Ryan's losing.
Right. And you're right, Ryan. Maybe, and then but also too, is it Oscar Duarte? He's still at 140 as well, right?
Oscar Duarte's at 140.
And then he has a Jose Carlos Ramirez that could try to get if Ramirez is still willing to fight at 140. I don't know because his last fight was at catchweight with Devin Haney, but then you could try to get the Devin Haney fight because you could be like, okay, we both beat Jose Carlos Ramirez if Richard Hitchens could beat him, you know. So yeah, now you're right. That I can see that. That makes sense. No, that's a good point.
The most important thing is that if there's one person Turk will work no matter what above Eddie, that's Oscar De La Hoya.
That's a good point. Yeah.
We've seen it time and time again.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. No, I actually, you just convinced me. I actually agree with that. I didn't think about that.
But yeah, but if it was like a smaller profile guy, then I would say just stay at Matchroom. You're gonna get the same treatment.
Right.
But this guy's coming in hot. He, like I said, he beat Kambosos. Like
that's a very good point.
A great win.
Yeah.
So it's like he's coming in like a star.
Yeah.
Like all great fights are still gonna happen. And like I said, if there's one guy that Turk would work no matter what,
right?
It's Oscar.
Yeah.
How many times we seen him like laugh at his face with the Virgil Bud,
right?
Feta and Shakur.
Yep.
Latino Night.
Yep. Nah, that's a good point, man. You just convinced. That's a very good point. I didn't think about that. And then like you said, even him saying that, I'm not gonna work with him unless he's with Eddie Hearn. Yeah, you'll work with him if he's with Oscar. Stop capping.
With Oscar, yeah. Eddie Hearn might be liked.
Yeah.
But Oscar is loved. I just feel like that.
And he's a former fighter too, and Turkey really likes the sport. You know what I'm saying? So I think he has that. Nah, that's a great point. Yeah, you just could. Yeah, that's a fact. I think Golden Boy would be good.
But if it was like a Kambosos, then yeah, I wouldn't go to Oscar.
Right.
Or a Puello. I wouldn't go to Oscar if I was a Puello.
Yep. Right.
Like Hitchins? Oh no, Hitchins. Yeah, he needs to go. To me, in my opinion.
Yeah, and then you know Oscar also said that he'll sign Tio as well. So he reached out to Tio. So then that fight could even happen, even more likely to happen if he can get Tio too. So which I don't think that happens, but yeah, that'd be.
There's one or two things gonna happen from that. Either they're gonna be buddies, liking each other's tweets, each other's picture, or they're gonna be calling each other out like, "Oh, stop dunking me, bitch."
Right. Exactly. That's a good point, man. That's a good point. Oster said, Doc, that's incorrect. How many boxers Mayweather kicked ass on Cinco de Mayo? Yeah, no facts. I mean, it's not incorrect. I mean, you still say the same thing, right? You don't want to if you're a Mexican fighter, you don't want to lose on Cinco de Mayo, or I'll say Mexican American, because Mexico. Correct me if I'm wrong, Oscar. Oh, you agree? Okay, cool. So like, you don't want to lose on Mexican Independence Day, like in September, like Canelo doesn't want to lose a bud. Right.
September, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Like Cinco de Mayo, we have like that's made up, bro. It's not even a holiday in Mexico.
Right. So yeah. So I would say
whenever I came here and they're like, "Yeah, do you know I celebrate Cinco de Mayo?" I'm like, "No."
Right.
Celebrate Cinco de Mayo.
Right. It's just an excuse to go party, for Americans. But yeah, I don't think what we said is incorrect. You don't want to lose. We don't say that I'm not saying that his career is over if he loses, but I'm just saying, it's like a Mexican fighter, whether you don't have to be Canelo, you could be Eastside Cruz. I'm sure that, you don't want to lose on a day like that, on a national holiday, so, or a cultural holiday, so that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that he can't lose, like, oh, if he loses, it's over because he lost a Juneteenth. No, I'm just saying as a part of that, you don't want to lose on a holiday that represents your culture. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. So I'm not saying he can't lose, like, oh, no one has ever lost on a day. I mean, yeah, I'm sure that there's been some female boxers that lost on Women's Day. Of course, they ain't lose to a man, what I'm saying? They lost to other women, but still, you probably don't want to lose on their Women's Day or their birthday or any day that's important to you, or whatever day,
Or like those fighters that go in like, oh, I'm representing, my grandma because she died.
Right, exactly.
And then they lose.
Right, exactly. You don't want to lose on something that's like.
I know a funny story about that. One time I was watching a soccer game. And it was like a semifinals of a big tournament in South America. Because you know how soccer is split by continents. I mean, Europe, Asia, North America, South America.
Yep.
It just so happens that Mexico Mexico and the States were invited to play in the South American, and they made it to the semifinals.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, oh yeah, Mexico this, Mexico. They were playing great, and they were like, yeah, Mexico. And then they pull out a kid like, oh yeah, my kid died, but he was a big supporter. He was a big fan. And then Mexico lost 7-0.
Damn. Yeah, bro, it's like that, like you have the tribute videos and you mess around and lose. It's just like, dang.
They didn't just lose. They got this.
Yeah, they got smoked. Yeah, 7-0 is crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's like equivalent to losing by like 50 in basketball. Yeah, that's crazy.
Like that kid is probably twisting in his grave right now.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, God bless him. Rest in peace. Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, Kendrick said they got to shelve him at Golden Boy if he loses, maybe. But if he wins, they might. I think that they'll keep him at the top bill. I mean, if he loses on Juneteenth, Trump not letting him back in the country. I mean, yeah, it's like an American losing on 4th of July. So, but I also say he's just messing with us. So, yeah, which I figured you're messing. But yeah, but I'm glad we talked about it, though. It's like any other holiday, you don't want to lose on. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to lose on the day that, represents, especially your country, especially if you're fighting a non. Like if you're fighting somebody that's not of that culture, of that ethnicity or whatever, and you lose to them, it's like I think I just said it.
Let's be honest. You and I know who Jen Sasaki is.
Right.
We watch him fight.
Right.
The popular media don't.
Heck no. Heck no.
They think he's going in for a payday without knowing this guy should be ranked number 1.
Right. Exactly.
So if he loses to that guy, that'd probably be out there the year without like.
Absolutely. Facts.
But that'd probably be off for the year.
Facts, brother. And he gonna get, bro. He gonna get dogged.
Oh yeah,
gonna
that's
get
why
dog.
Boots didn't fight him.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Boots
Yep.
knew, and
Yep.
it's the best thing that can happen to Boots.
Yep.
Brian Norman losing, but
Yep.
yeah, nah.
Close said Trump won't let him back in the country. If you
That's crazy.
That's crazy, bro. Bro, y'all gotta stop it, man. Don't forget to smack that like button for your boy, man. That's crazy.
The Mexican passport already.
Bro,
Hey,
Trump already ain't, he trying to get everybody out. He ain't trying to let nobody in anyway. So yeah, he looking for an excuse to keep Brian Norman out. He better tighten up. Oh man, he better tighten up. Why had to change residency. Yeah, the citizenship.
Oh yeah, last point, dog. Last point I want to touch up on too, because he touched so many good points.
Mm-hmm.
Why are this British fans saying that Mason is the favorite to win?
Who said? They said what? Oh yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, man. And I'm not saying that he can't be the favorite, but they're making it seem like, oh, Noakes is some huge underdog. Like, what are we talking about, bro? This dude's a prospect. Mason's a prospect. They're both a prospect, but he's an older prospect. Sam Noakes. Come on, bro. With more fights, if I'm not mistaken, or the same amount. Yeah, it might be the same amount.
Same as Dalton Smith, bro. Dalton Smith.
Exactly.
Adam C. Do you know who the fuck? He's not on your level, bro. What are you doing this? That's just like, if we're really honest, Dylan Mason should be the underdog.
Come on now.
But Sam Noakes got the lesser caliber win.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know how that happens, though. How many fights does he have? He has quite a bit, right?
I think he has like 17. Oh, no. More than, I thought 17. He has 24 fights. 23 and 1. Sorry. No. I was right. He has 17. I just pulled it up and I was on all bouts instead of pro. No, he's 17 and 0. I was correct. First time.
And he hasn't faced a caliber opponent? That's crazy. Same as Dalton Smith.
Just like Dalton Smith.
But if you watch their fights, which I'm not gonna watch a UK fight ever again, just unless they're
That's crazy, Oscar.
Bro, they're so boring. I'm sorry. They all fight the same. They don't have no sauce.
Oh man. Yeah.
Then you have Colin Smith saying like, and the song commentators, they're the worst hyping their fighters up. The worst.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie.
They'll throw a jab and like, you see what Colin Smith just did?
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. They definitely be overhyping and overselling it for real. Oh my goodness.
I'm like, he just threw a jab. What?
He just threw a jab there, like he just broke the man's face. Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, we can't have the best thing, Catterall versus Barbosa. Remember that we're all like, you see what Catterall did? He's tying him out. He's trying to figure him out.
Oh my goodness, bro.
That could be counted for points.
Right. Exactly. So, and another Oscar guy, like you said, Arnold Barbosa. That could be a fight for Richard's Agents.
Yeah, or Kambosos.
Yep. Or Kambosos too. Yes, no, you're right, bro. Golden Boy, you're right about the Richard's Agents going to Golden Boy. I think that's a good fight. I mean, good. That's not bad. But
because what do we expect that's gonna happen in Matchroom? Like, do we expect that he's gonna go back to Matchroom and Eddie's gonna put him in all these big fights and promote him?
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. That's what at Matchroom.
They're probably gonna be like, sit your ass over there.
Right.
Give me that bill. No, you don't get to play with that bill. Give me that bill.
Yeah. I don't know. I would say that Matchroom. I always give Eddie the credit. I think he's the best go getter as far as promoters, like to go make stuff happen. But yeah, I can't. I mean, Teofimo's with Top Rank, Gary Antorussell's with PBC, Alberto Puel's with PBC. So those are the other champions. Who's another contender at 140 right now? It's like, I mean,
he can make the Paro fight happen again. The
rematch. Yeah, Super Matias. You can make that happen, I guess. If he beats Puello.
Yeah, especially if he beats Puello. But do you think he's gonna beat Puello?
Man, I'm still thinking, bro. I don't know either, bro. I think Puello. I would lean towards Puello, man, but I'm still not sure about that fight, man. I really like that card, man. That fight.
I really like it too.
Yeah, I like that card, man. Sakura Zapata, Puello Matias, Berlanga Shiraz, and there's something else too. There's another one, right? I think I'm missing.
Morel versus
Yep. Imam Katayev. Yep. Imam Katayev. Yep. That's a good card, man.
I think that's the more clear one I see is that one, Morel Katayev.
Me too. He gonna smoke.
Nah, bro. Like, man, this guy's saying like, oh, he's gonna win because this is more ring. Bro, have you seen how your fighter loses? It's not like he's coming out the ring. He's just chasing the other guy.
Exactly.
So it don't matter. It don't matter if you put him in a 18 by 18 or 8-foot ring. It's gonna be the same shit.
Facts.
He don't cut the ring off. He just chases the guy around.
And Morrell got popped too. It's not like Morrell doesn't hit hard.
No, oh yeah, and it's not like he's running.
Come
He's
on,
just
man.
fighting backwards.
Right, man. Morrell about to beat the hell out of this dude.
But that's the only one I see like clear one because
Me too.
Cepeda and Shakur. Sometimes I wake up, I think Shakur's gonna win, but then as I wake up and I'm like, man, Cepeda could win. He's still away from Shakur.
Absolutely.
Shiraz and Berlanga. Oh, that's another one. I got Berlanga smoking that guy.
Yeah, I got Berlanga winning too, but I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little nervous. So I'm not. I was more convinced when it first was called. It's just the reason why I'm a little nervous because I just can't. It's just Berlanga, bro. I just can't trust him, man. You know, I don't know what kind of training he doing, man. He might be in the boxing ring dancing right now, man. I don't know what he doing, man. You know. Hey.
I ain't gonna lie, dog. If I was his buddy, I'd be like, bro, what the hell you doing? You can't go there.
He needs that, bro. He needs somebody to be his buddy and tell him, hey man, what the hell you doing, bro? Like, hey, bro. I ain't gonna lie, Berlanga's funny, bro. I really do hope he wins, man. But I'm a little nervous. I'm still gonna go with him. I'm still going with him.
Yeah.
I'm not as confident as I was when it was first called. The more I think about it, I'm like, man, Berlanga could mess around and do some dumb stuff, bro.
You know, more than the fight, you know what I'm more skeptical about? What does the result do to you? If Shiraz beats Berlanga, it's like, yeah, you beat Berlanga.
Right.
If Berlanga beats Shiraz, it's like, yeah, you beat Shiraz.
Right.
Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what it does. I don't know what it really does for either one. I mean, that it'll definitely do. I mean, it'll be their best win for each other. So, because yeah, I mean, Berlanga. Shiraz would definitely be Berlanga's best win, and then Berlanga, who's Shiraz's best win right now? I don't even know. I mean, I guess you would say Austin Ammo Williams, maybe.
Maybe I don't even think so. I'm not even sold on that.
Yeah, maybe that's his best win, and then Edgar Berlanga's best win is who? I don't know. For Drake McCrory, I don't know. I don't know. You know, his best win is his Canelo loss. Yeah, my bad. He got a whole motorcade in Puerto Rico, so his best win is his loss to Canelo.
His best performance?
Nah, bro. His best win, bro. He act like that was a win, bro. That's his best win, bro. His best win is his loss. Shout out to my guy Berlanga, man. Hey, check out Berlanga right here, man. This is why I'm nervous about it, man. I was sold, and then I cannot forget this video, bro. This is him training in the Pro Box facility. Hey. Hey. Bro, why does he start twerking in the corner, bro? That was not necessary. It was already bad enough, Edgar. You ain't have to go twerk in the corner too. Look at this. Hey.
Yeah, that joke's funny.
How many people is he fighting? I don't know if y'all remember. Y'all ever played the game Sleeping Dogs? I don't know if y'all ever played the game Sleeping Dogs. Yeah, okay. So, bro, it feels like you're in one of those scenes where you go and you go fight one of the little tournaments, and it's like a group of people that you're fighting, bro. Like, bro, you're boxing, bro. You're not fighting a group of folks, bro. It's just one-on-one, Edgar. You don't have to turn to your left and your right. They're not gonna be behind you, bro, or beside you.
Like the end with a drug bottle.
Yes, bro. You think he's getting jumped?
And for some reason, it was like a torch battle at the end.
Yeah, exactly. Twerking at the end is crazy, bro. Nah, man. Is this a real? Yes, this is real, bro. This is him training. He thinks he's getting it in. That's the part that's. I think Berlanga could beat Shiraz, bro. But you can't. Look, bro. Look at the name. He titled this hit list coming. His hit list. What hit list, bro? Your dancing partners? What you about to?
That was the new opera, bro, or the new play.
Yes, man. That's the part that's funny. The part that's funny to me is that let's give him the benefit of the doubt that he's joking. I don't know that he's joking. That's the part that scares me because even like I hope he's joking, but I don't know. I think he's serious, bro.
Yes, I think so too.
Yes, and that's the part that's scary. Like if he did this and I was like, man, he's just trolling, bro. I'll be like, it's cool. You know, ain't no pressure. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be worried. But the fact that I really think that he could be serious, bro. This could be part of his
I think
training
he's
regimen, man. Oh, no. Bro. Shout out to Bro Longer, bro. Come on. Don't let me
He
down,
got a
bro.
tap dance, like a tap dancer. Like, yeah, bro, we gotta get our steps in.
Yes,
Come on, bro, twerk.
Twerk, bro. The man went in the corner talking about, hey.
Oh, you know what I think? I think whenever he went to PR, he stopped at like a ghetto ass, stripper club, and they were like,
Yes.
and he was like, oh, I can use that, bro.
I got that. I can use that move. I got that. Hold on, check this out. They ain't gonna know what to do with this one. I'm gonna really mess him up with this one. Canelo in trouble now. To pull out the turnbuckle twerk.
No, don't.
Oh my gosh, bro. Bro, I can't, bro. Yes, bro. I gotta slide though, man. I gotta give me some food, man. My stomach growling. Man, Oscar, I appreciate you pulling up as always, man. Thank you, man. I'm so glad I don't know how we got to Edgar Balaga, but I'm glad because that just gave me a great laugh. Yo, this man.
The one thing I gotta say is, before I go, my
Yes,
closing
sir.
statement. Before I go, all I gotta say is.
Oscar the troll, bro. That's another Edgar. Nah, bro. Yeah, hey, man. Edgar Balaga, bro. Shout out to my guy Oscar, man. King Oscar in the building, man. Our brother Oscar coming through, man. Yes, sir, man. Appreciate you, man. Again, always pulling up, always holding me down, man. Shout out to my guy Oscar, man. Always a pleasure to have him join the panel. I appreciate it, man. Kendrick, man, just working. He said an effing motorcade for a loss. Suffering said, yes. Now, on top of this video, I'll never bet on it. Like, oh, you never seen this before, Oster? Oh, you know what? That's before we knew you. Yeah, that's true. That's before you joined the Boxing Talk family. You was in the channel. Bro, ask Kendrick, bro. We was laughing about that I was laughing about that for at least a week, bro. Like, bro, that video never gets old. Never gets old, man. That's one of the best videos. Bro, there's another one. That's not it. That's not it. Oster, that's the second one. When Oscar said that's the first one. That was reference to the first one. He has another one where he's like, well, let me see if I can find it, bro. That's the thing, Oscar. I mean, Oster, this is not an isolated event. That's the second one, bro. That's not even the first. The first was worse. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it, though, bro. There's another one where he's like, I don't know what he's doing, bro. Bro, Edgar Balaga, he does not fail, bro. Hey, I ain't gonna lie. That's why I rock with Edgar Balaga, man. Like, even if it's just for me to get a good laugh. But did you see what he was shooting that's what Oscar's talking about when he was shooting the gun at Eddie Hearn at the press conference? He was he thought he was playing Call of Duty. He was firing off on Eddie Hearn. You ain't see that? Bro, Kendrick, bro, he was twerking, bro. The man was twerking. I don't know what he was doing, bro. Shout out to Edgar. I like Edgar Balaga, man. I don't care what nobody say. Y'all ain't gonna trick me out of my love for Edgar Balaga because the dude is funny, bro. The dude is funny. I just hope he holds it down, man. I like it. I just wish he was better, bro. He's a guy. To me, he's like an Adrian Broner or a Rolly Romero. I'm not saying he's as good because no disrespect. Adrian Broner's a three division champion, but I'm talking about like. You wish like they talked a good game. They talked better than they fought. You know, you just wish they were as good as they talked and stuff like that. That's how I feel about Edgar Balaga. I just wish he was him and Rolly and AB. I just wish they were as good as they talked. You know what I'm saying? Because even though AB was good, he still talked better than what he was. But at least he was a champion and stuff. So I gotta give that to him. I can't find it, bro. I cannot find it, chat. If I find it, I'll post it in the Discord. My boy was going crazy, bro. I think he was like dancing to Daddy Yankee or something. Or training to Daddy Yankee, and you can't tell if he was dancing or training. I don't know what. I don't know if he was dancing or training. Yo, Sleeping Dogs was fire. Yes, Kendrick. Yeah, Sleeping Dogs. Yes, sir. Yep, Sleeping Dogs. Oh, my boy Kendrick behind. Yeah, I love that game, Sleeping Dogs. That's one of my favorite games, man. Oh, here it goes. I found it, chat. I found it. Hey, y'all don't say I don't love y'all, man. Don't say I don't love y'all, bro. I be putting in work trying to find this stuff, bro. This is it right here, bro. Balanga. This is him training, bro. Hey, you see, hey, you ain't see him put his leg up. Hey, Oster, you ain't see him put his leg up, though. Peep the leg. Watch him put his leg up. Hey. He put his leg up. He hit him with the Rico. He hit him with the Rico. You ain't even see when I put my leg up, though. From Paid in Full. Hey, shout out to my guy Thomas in the building. Hey, Jab Queen, you ain't even see him put his leg up. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's why I be thinking I like boxing too much, bro. Cause I do find ways to like fighters, bro. I do, cause this is fun. How can you not like Edgar Berlanga after the 2 videos I just showed you? We had him twerking in the corner, and now I don't know what he's doing. And he thinks this is how. So somehow he believes this is helping him prepare for a fight. He ain't do none of this when Canelo check hooked him. He ain't do none of this. He did none of this when Canelo caught him with the left hook and dropped him in the 4th round. He ain't do none of this. Where was this at? Where was this? He probably would have slipped some punches. Oh my God. Nah, dog. Nah, Edgar Berlanga's the truth, man. Edgar Berlanga's the truth, man. Y'all better stop hating on my boy, man. I love to have Edgar Berlanga on the show. I ain't gonna lie, chat. Well, I ain't gonna. Nah, I'll be lying. I was gonna say that if I could have my first boxer on the show, it would be Edgar Berlanga. That's not true. That's not true. But I would definitely want to have him on the show, though. That dude funny, bro. Edgar Berlanga funny, bro. Hold on, let me see, because maybe Oster didn't see this. Let me see if I can find the one where he was firing off on Eddie Hearn. I'm talking about he emptied out a whole drum, the whole clip, everything, 50 piece, all on Eddie Hearn, bro. I doubt Oster saw it. Oster, you got to see it, bro. Edgar Berlanga let off the 50-round drum on Eddie Hearn, boy, at the press conference. Bro, nah, dog. Let me see if I can find it, bro. I'm talking about he lets off 100 rounds. He lets off 100-round drum, bro. Let's see if I can find it, man. I can't find it, bro. Hold on. Nah, I gotta find it, dog. This joke is hilarious, bro. I don't know what's wrong with Edgar Berlanga, bro. My boy might be remedial, bro. Hey, Thomas, bro. He stuck a pool straw on the wall and said, watch this facts, Kendrick. Hey, man, I gotta find it, bro. I'm not gonna be satisfied until I find it, bro. Oh my gosh, man. He said, bro. No, man. I'm talking about. I can't find it, man. If anybody has it, bro, please drop it in the chat, dog. I can't find it, man. I know my boy was a beast at Guitar Hero. Edgar Berlanga was a beast at Guitar Hero, boy. I tell you, he got air guitars, air guns, everything. Let me see if I can find it, bro. It's at the end, right? Because that's after their face off, right? After their face off, he like after their face off, he just opened up the whole clip. See, I'm supposed to see this is Oscar's fault. That's why I don't like having Oscar come in on the channel at the end of the show, because I be on here for about an hour. This joke too funny though, dog. I can't find it, man. Man, that's crazy, bro. That's trash. Okay, he got the gun at Hamza Shiraz. Hold on, maybe I might have found it, chat. He got the gun aiming at Hamza Shiraz. Okay, here it is. I found the chat. Hey, chat, check this out. My boy got the gun. He got the gun at hands of Shiraz first. First, he got the gun at hands of Shiraz. He be playing too much Call of Duty. Let me see where it's at. Okay, see, he got the gun. Hold on. He got the gun at Hamza right now. He got the gun at Hamza right now. He not playing with him, bro. He got the full. He got the Desert Eagle. Bop, 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 bop. Bro, Edgar Berlanga, hey, bro, he one of my favorite, bro. I can't lie, bro. I can't lie, bro. He one of my favorite, bro. You see him? Hey, Kendrick, bro, he just fired off on him. Yeah.
Man right here hums
nah, bro. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him.
The imaginary gun out.
Yeah.
Because he throws those.
Who are you scaring, bro? Who are you scaring, bro? Why does he think he's intimidating somebody with the finger gun, bro? Like this a 2011 drill Chief Keef video. Bro, what are you doing, bro? This ain't a Chief Keef video, bro. Look. He got the gun again. Look, chat.
Maybe he can't.
He got the gun again.
But I think because of that performance, that's a chip on his shoulder now.
Here you go. Here go the 100 round. Here go the 100 round.
Like Shakur was saying, I'm gonna train hard. I'm gonna train my behind. Or that's what he's saying right now. So I think Berlanga's just gonna get the best Shiraz there is.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think sometimes, in a lot of cases, fighters need a close fight. They need.
Bro, he got the Gatling gun, bro. He got the full drum, bro. Nah, bro. Hey, shout out to Edgar. Nah, Edgar Berlanga might be one of my favorite fighters, bro. I can't hold you, bro. Bro, I ain't gonna lie. Hey, Kendrick, you know why I like it? I ain't gonna lie. Because it's just something I can see like my godson or my nephew do. I ain't gonna lie, bro. If Edgar, I ain't gonna lie, I'd have had his back, bro. I'd have put out the two Uzis. I'd have been firing off with him, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'd have had his back, man. Ain't nobody have his back, bro. I'd have had his back, bro. Where his homies at, man? He put the shades on.
I'm gonna train my behind, or that's what he's saying right now. So I think Berlanga's just gonna
get the best. Look. I don't know what he's doing right there.
Sometimes, in a lot of cases.
Oh, bro. I would have had his back. I'd have had my boy's back, man. I'd have had my boy. I'd have been right up there with him with the Uzis, bro. The double Uzi, bro. I'd have been right up there with him. I'd have been right up there with him, man. Nah, bro. Edgar Berlanga's hilarious, though. I don't care what nobody say, bro. I rock with Edgar Berlanga, bro. I rock with Edgar Berlanga, bro. The man's funny as hell. The guard, yes, the guard is laughing, bro. The security laughing, bro. The man's funny. I like Berlanga too, Jab Queen. Shout out to Jab Queen. Exactly. I like Berlanga, man. He be using the N-word a little bit too much for my liking. But you know. But other than that, man, that man's funny, bro. That man's funny, bro. He said, Berlanga, these cats want to be street dudes so much. You a boxer. What you even doing with a gun, dummy? Your profession is exactly. You a whole pugilist out here. He got the gun. We talking about it. You get it for real. Berlanga always gonna hump the air. You saw him hump the air, bro. He pulled out the drum. He's fired off on him. He humped the air and put out the drum again. Yo, Slim Reaper in the building. What it do, brethren? Nah, man, I gotta go get some food. It's shameless, straight shameless, Jab Queen. Straight shameless. How is Ryder your boy playing? Hey, man. I got Thomas, man. Everything good on this side, man. Shout out to you, man. Taylor said I like the goofy shit. That's why he go hard for Tank. It's crazy. Shout out to Tank, man. Hey, Tank might pull out the air Uzi on your ass, too. Come up. That's so funny, bro. Hey, show us a Berlanga. You want to see the Berlanga trading video again? I got you, bro. And I'm getting off for real, man. I ain't gonna lie. I like this video, bro. So I'm gonna show it one more time and then I'm done. I gotta get off. I gotta get some food, bro. I'm hungry. My stomach eating through my back. Hold on, bro. I'll show it though, cause this joke is funny, bro. Oh man, let's see if I can find it, dog. Oh man, that joke's too funny, dog. I was literally crying for about a week with the training video, bro. Here go the twerk. Here go the twerk. Hey. Hey. Bro, the funniest part part is not even him, bro. It's his homie in the background talking about, hey. Hey. I'm done, bro. I gotta get off, bro. I'm done, bro. I gotta get off, bro. I gotta get off. Hey. What are you A-ing about, bro? Yo, Edgar, hey man, I'm not. How can you be mad at him, bro? The man, young, rich, and hey, I can't be mad at it, bro. Get your money, player. I can't be mad at it, bro. I'm thoroughly entertained. So shout out to Edgar Berlanga, bro. Hey, yeah, I rock with Edgar Berlanga, bro. Whoever lets the video on is not his friend at all. All right, man. I appreciate y'all rocking as always, man. Thank y'all for turning up and acting the fool with your boy, man. I appreciate it, man. Shout out to Oscar Perez, my brother, mi hermano Kernal, joining the Discord, man. Shout out to my guy George the Last Patriot with the $2 in the super chat. Shout out to George the Last Patriot with the $5 in the super chat. Appreciate you. Shout out to D1 for renewing that membership. You know what I'm saying? BTF gang stuff, man. Boxing Talk family, DBT, all types of things. Dr. Boxing Talk, man. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to all the members, especially. Shout out to Clone for dropping the $5. Shout out to Clone for another $5. Shout out to my guy Oscar for another $5, man. Shout out to all y'all for supporting the channel, keeping us going and growing, man. So let's keep it going. So y'all take care of yourselves. I should be back on for the late show at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Those of you that are new, you know, we go live twice a day, man. 8 a.m. for the morning show and 7 p.m. for the late show Eastern Standard Time. And then we drop videos throughout the day sporadically, man. So go check out the video. I just dropped a video late last night with David Benavidez. Some news about David Benavidez and Callum Smith. So go check that out if you haven't done so already. Don't forget to like those videos as well. Like this video as well. But even more important than that, you know, remember with God, we can do anything without God. We're nothing. The doctor's out. Peace. Appreciate y'all.
From the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 60 degrees between us, so cold, we're about to freeze. But we're Florida boys, hot takes, we bring the heat. We're moving the culture, the engineers to the streets.